You're listening to the Wicked Theory Podcast.
We're very happy to have you back, even for a short visit.
And here we go.
Broadcasting to you live from the smallest, tiniest compartment in Batman's utility belt. This is the Wicked Theory Podcast. Woohoo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back. It's another week, it's another show. I'm your buddy Bill, and I bring some buddies of mine. I got my buddy, we'll get back to Smokey. We got my buddy Dom.
Hola.
And we got my buddy Jay.
Yeah.
All right. We got my brother Bob on guitar.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
And Ed.
The Han Solo movie's gonna be fine.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna be fine.
Oh.
There's nothing to worry about.
Oh, wait a minute.
Absolutely nothing to worry about.
Wait,
Ron Howard's gonna do a great job.
Wait a minute. You're suddenly feeling better about it.
We're all gonna be great.
This is not a John Goodman quote.
It's gonna be a really great time.
You finally broke the bit.
I am looking forward to it.
He wasn't breaking no bit. He really believed that it wasn't going to be fun.
But he inserted another one on top, though.
But once again, Uncle Jay was always right. So
I should. Oh man, thanks.
We need that on a Wicked Theory T-shirt. Uncle Jay was always right.
So the whole Han Solo thing, I
Yeah.
guess, is you thinking that because a director came in and took over a movie,
Yeah,
and you
you know
just
what?
saw a movie where a director came in and took over a movie,
I saw a movie this week.
then now you're okay with Han.
It opened my eyes.
I got you.
The Han Solo movie is
It's gonna be fine.
It's gonna be great.
Okay. 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 That's a weird way to go things. All right. This is episode 132.
Wow.
Wow.
I don't.
Mark it down, because this is the episode where Ed does not use a John Goodman quote.
there's still time, Bob. Believe me. Give him a few minutes.
but it's not for the intro.
He's changed it up.
I don't mean to spoil my review, but just I'm feeling very good right now.
Well, you could barely get the word out. There was so much elation falling out of your mouth.
Oh man,
All right. Dial it back, Jonesy.
my cheekbones are starting to hurt.
Yeah. I bet.
I remember 4 years ago when I felt this way. Anyway, moving on.
I don't know what that means. Oh, is that when you graduated high school?
I think that was after he walked out of Man of Steel.
So I'm guessing Superman doesn't kill people in this movie.
Oh,
Whoa.
snap. Bob with the
Wait a
comeback.
minute. Wait a minute.
I think we got to get a little official business out of the way before we get to that.
I'm confused. 'Cause now you're telling me Superman's in this movie. All right, hold on. All right. Spoilers. I didn't see it.
I didn't spoil nothing.
No. Obviously not. No way, shape, or
I
form.
haven't seen the movie, so I can't spoil nothing.
No, it's impossible to spoil on that note anyway. It's like, oh, he's going to be in that? Yeah, surprise.
What episode number is this, Bill?
132.
132.
132.
Let me correct the doc quick.
Not that it's necessary at this point. I managed to look at that and
we got a
then
producer for that?
not say it. Yeah, but we don't pay him. All right, so we're going to get to some nerd news. And as you might have guessed or heard the hint, yes, we do have some reviews of things to talk about, including Justice League, The Punisher, a little bit anyway. I don't know what everybody's up to as far as seeing that, but we'll cover a little ground on it. Probably more next week as everybody else also digests and gets it in. Maybe there'll be a special episode. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But as far as this episode, we got a chat room game. We're going to give the kids in a minute, and then we'll get into everything. First thing I want to say is that when we get to emails, hey, you can get one in there if you're listening live. You've got time still. You can send them to podcast@wickedtheory.com because that's a thing, right?
Yeah,
And that's cool shit.
It is.
All right. People, if you're watching DC TV, we got a podcast for that. Ed and Sarah Netsley.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
There's
Every
a lot
week.
of DC shows on
Yes.
TV right now.
Yes.
And
In fact, I may be checking out earlier this episode to finish editing.
Fair enough.
DCTV report.
I think
Sorry, Dom.
it's fair to say that there was so many episodes this week that you were just having trouble cramming them all in.
Yeah, and there was
Or there was a...
there was something I saw twice that kind of
Twice?
took up a little bit of my time.
You saw it twice, and that's why you were sitting here doing everything? Jesus Christ on a biscuit. All right.
And we could tease it
Yeah.
down the line. We're going to do a little pitch versus pitch again this week.
That's right. That's right. We got it in
That
there,
was
kids.
fun last week.
That was fun. Uh-oh.
just said
I see
shit.
some people freaking out like they
I-
might have forgotten.
I've written one during the show before, so I think you have time to do your homework before we get to it.
And
And edit your other podcast.
Okay.
and stay focused on this one. That's running live. All right. So anyway, if you want to hear more of that, you can check out the DCTV report. All technical glitches aside. So who is in the chat room? Let's take a look in there. Let's see if we got anybody hanging out just
Wesley.
yet. Wesley and...
Wesley.
All right. We'll take it.
Hey, well, if you're listening to this on iTunes or not in real time,
Right, not live.
fucking listen live, man.
Come in, join the show.
Mixler, 7 p.m. Eastern,
Look,
every Saturday,
You know,
7
what time-
p.m.
you know,
Eastern.
We're trying to make it easy for you. It's Saturday. Like, hopefully it's not too late in the day wherever you are, but, like, you know.
Like, look, I get it. I get it.
Right.
We're not all the coolest people in the fucking room. I understand
not
that.
all of us, not all of us.
But if you are,
Right.
and you're going to go out on a Saturday night,
I mean, come on.
you're not going out before 7, 8 o'clock. So when you're putting your makeup on, when you're getting ready,
Right.
fucking listen.
You got the whole day, actually.
Pre-game to us. Take shots to us.
And even if you live in a different time zone, still, you're not doing anything yet.
All right.
You can download the Mixler app, have that on your hip, listen to us live. Maybe you can't get into the chat room every second, but you don't have to.
Throw it on the radio and make your significant other listen to us.
I mean, it's not like we're begging here. I mean, come on, just listen.
Hey, I mean, maybe a little bit of
please.
begging.
I think you're pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why you came over here.
Yeah.
That's how we got you. You were like, I think you guys are cool. Can I stay? And we're like, yeah. That's all it takes.
Well, it didn't quite go like that
No, but that's part of
because
it.
nothing is official around here like
Oh,
that.
still no, right?
I'm pretty sure Ed's still a guest, too.
Yeah. No.
Well, yes.
I mean, technically, no one signed anything, so I don't know if that's going to help me or hurt me or any of us, but that is true. True facts and information on this week's episode.
So are we going to go ahead with the chat game or no? Because we only
You
got
know what? Yeah, let's see what Wesley does with it.
All right.
Let's not have him have fun. It's his time to shine.
Okay.
Let me tell you something else about this kid Wesley. This guy came out of nowhere this week with 3, I think it was, or was it 4? But either way, he came out and made a whole bunch of took a whole bunch of clips from the show.
Really?
And I retweeted them all. So if you don't follow Wesley Gaskins, you can go to my Twitter account at Wicked Theory and see them there.
He's on my friends list on Facebook, so
Nice.
guess I'm going to have to ask him for a link.
Yeah, maybe, I guess. But you could go to the Twitter account and take a look at him over there. But he made these. He took some clips. He put, he threw in some Wicked Theory promotional images in there to shift up and change out. But he took a whole bunch of his favorite clips from like a couple random episodes.
Cool.
You know?
I got to check that out. I missed that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, look at that guy. Like that's fan appreciation right there.
Oh, yeah.
So let's give him some time to shine.
Oh, yeah.
Wesley, we need serial killer songs.
Examples include Wanted Dead Not Alive and tie a yellow ribbon round a fresh young neck.
You want to sing that for me, Ed?
It sounds like a Robin Williams.
Sing it!
Don't
Tie a yellow ribbon.
using using song titles from Slayer is cheating.
Yeah, that's we talked about that in the writers' room.
Tie
this week.
yellow ribbon round a fresh young neck.
Yeah, so Dead Skin Mask is basically off limits.
There you go. So,
Well, have fun with that, Wes.
yes, Wesley. It's
And
all
anybody
you.
else that comes along the way, if you see us doing the chat game.
All right, we're 9
Play
minutes.
along.
We're 9 minutes in, and Wesley has already given us 36 hearts. I think that's impressive.
I think that's impressive. I thought you were going to say 36
It's really
suggestions
impressive.
for the chat room game.
It's really impressive when you consider he's doing that while typing.
It's almost like he has 2 accounts logged in or something.
Yeah.
He's probably cheating. He's probably
right.
gaming the system. You all right there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm
Jay?
fine.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm drinking.
Well, is that what the noises are? Because I was like,
Jay's having a good old fucking time.
he's having a
today.
party by himself over there.
That's how I roll. That's how I roll, Chiefy.
It's rock and roll every day.
He's
all
got
day.
alcohol and a phallic-shaped object. He's good.
Wait
Yeah, baby.
a minute. That's not.
Oh, this is incredible audio.
This is great stuff. Kids love this
Especially when
stuff.
they're dark and wet.
Yeah.
What? I don't get it.
Exactly.
I know you.
Yeah,
I
that
see you
one.
went the tip too.
Yeah.
I think we got some nerd news in the doc here.
We do. Bob, get ready. We got some news to drop on these people. All right. So where do we start? I guess with the big news first, right?
The great news.
It's good stuff. It's got me excited. It's got me jazzed.
Yeah. News.
So
Kansas.
since Miramax is imploding,
Yeah, I wonder why.
hot story there. Tarantino's got to shop around his next thing. This serial killer, this Charles Manson era 70s thing. It's like maybe Charles Manson specific, maybe not. We don't know really how.
Well, I don't
hard
know, considering Sharon Tate is going to be one of the main characters.
Yeah, but outside of that, it was like he didn't want anybody to get too locked into thinking that was like the full angle. It might be something a little bit more broad stroke. But hey, it's Quentin. Who the fuck cares? And who knows what that guy's
As
gonna
someone who actually read a bit on the Charles Manson things and what was going on around that at that time.
do. Right. As an expert?
There was more. No, not an expert.
Oh,
but,
okay.
But like I
Came
read,
off that way a
like
little
I
bit.
did more than just read Helter Skelter. I got into like
You read 2 books.
I read like 4 books actually.
Nice.
I read-
That's actually
I read
more than
it-
most. I get you.
I actually read the Bugliosi written book. The guy.
Yeah, Helter Skelter.
No, well Helter Skelter was his, and then
Yeah.
but then there was like a more of a procedural account of it that was written. I think he was involved in it to some level. That's why I'm thinking isn't it? Anyway. There was more going on behind the scenes.
Right.
Among those people, Sharon Tate,
Okay.
Polanski, all that, then like was ever really mentioned
Okay.
publicly.
Yeah, sure.
So,
Well, yeah.
So if it's going to have her involved, it doesn't necessarily have to be about the Mansons. I'm sure there's plenty
Yeah.
of story topic there for someone who's willing to do some digging.
Well-
yeah. Because I was gonna say the names who are attached here. I mean, Margot Robbie.
Well, these are people. No one's attached yet. So names on this are people who are seem to be on Quentin's short list and all that. But Sony this week won the auction. Basically, that was going down in Hollywood to be who's gonna get the rights, who's gonna be able to, or basically just help Quentin put it out. You know what I mean? Because that's pretty much all you're gonna be doing in this particular instance. Like, Quentin doesn't.
Well, Weinstein's
gotta
been
have-
with him since the beginning.
Yeah, but
You
I
know?
think the thing is, like, it's one of these times where, like, this guy's got all the leverage in the world, and, like, he's going to get final edit, final everything, you know what I mean? So I'm sure, because I was saying to Jay before the show, I think it was you, right?
Yeah.
That, like, I think, in theory, like, my thinking was that, like, what's the difference between all these studios? Like, they all probably would be offering him the same kind of endless resources. There would be almost no difference. It would probably have to come down to
he doesn't
dollars.
need-
It comes down to dollars and cents in the end.
He doesn't need Harvey.
Exactly. He doesn't need Harvey. He doesn't need any of them, really.
No.
Like, if the guy wanted to, he
No,
could just put it out by himself.
He could shop on
I
his own.
was just going to say he could walk into a bank and say, I have a script idea and I want
Yeah.
to do it on my own. And
Yeah.
the bank would be like, no problem, here.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at it.
Why
I
not?
mean,
Right on the money.
just take a step and look at it. I mean, this
Yeah.
is a guy that's having, big, huge companies bid on his shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? To put it out. Final cut, the whole 9, man.
So supposedly names kicked around are Margot Robbie, Tom Cruise, even Leonardo DiCaprio. These are people that he's either talked to or is trying. Is going to throw it their way. There's the rumor mill. Dom, Tori in the back.
Now I have a question here.
Sure.
Are those 3 white guys out for the same role, or are they?
No,
Are
I
those 3 very specific
That's a
white
big-
guys?
I think that's a big question. I think that's a big
Yeah,
question.
so
What I heard.
I think that's really what we got to
Yeah,
talk about.
so he's talked with Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, and Leonardo DiCaprio for the 2 main lead male roles. It's unclear if all 3 will be in the movie or 2 of them.
Okay.
So but
It's still up in the air.
yeah. Also, none of those guys, all of those guys, are way too old to be playing Charles Manson.
Well, I don't think it's going
Well,
to be about Manson directly. I
that's the
think
thing.
It's going to bleed right into. That's why I was going to say before, like if Margot Robbie is going to play Sharon Tate, then it's a significant role, which leads me to believe that maybe they're going to touch on maybe Polanski's life. You know what I
Sure.
mean, or something like that.
Something, I forget exactly how it was phrased, but there was a follow-up piece I saw that implied that the picture's not going to be about the Manson murders. It's going to be very much more about the 70s. So it might be a broader stroke thing.
Or
where-
69, I think
And
69.
how maybe Tate kind of crosses, intermingles through a bunch of different kind of circles in Hollywood at the time. And maybe it's that.
Yeah.
And another thing to keep in consider is, like, it's Quentin Tarantino. And the last time he played with history, he kind of rewrote a couple of things, if you might remember.
Oh yeah, well,
You know?
bastards.
Yeah, so who knows exactly how tight or how fast and loose he's going to play with it.
Right.
But either way, it's just going to be, fucking amazing.
Either way, we're going to go see it.
Yeah, cashed
What's
already.
next, Ed?
It'd be interesting to see if it does come down to Cruise and Pitt, because they haven't worked together since Interview with a Vampire, and things weren't really.
Yeah,
Things were kind of shaky between them on
supposedly,
set.
right?
Yeah,
I think they just wanted to fuck each other too bad, too
Maybe.
hard. You
with
know?
the ruffled
They were
fucking
like,
shirt.
I'm like, I didn't realize a shirt like that could look so good on a
They're
man.
both in different places now. I mean, Tom,
Yeah,
I'm sure they're
Tom's
fine. I'm
what?
sure it's
Tom's
fine.
like the god of Scientology now.
Yeah.
Unless they've ruffled each other's feathers some way that we just don't know about as a public,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
On to the next thing.
Next news, Joe Carnahan is going to be directing a movie that stars Mel Gibson and Frank Grillo called Boss Level.
Right.
It's kind of like a Groundhog Day version, but it's a war movie, and it's about a retired Special Forces vet forced to relive his death in a never-ending loop. Yeah.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So it's Edge of Tomorrow with Mel Gibson and
for
Frank
the
Grillo.
kids.
Which is, you know what, though? I mean, it goes what I'm saying. If you have familiar territory, but you get a guy like Joe Carnahan directing,
Right,
and then
right.
you got nice hitters like fucking Gibson and
These
Grillo.
two, yeah.
Cash.
Cash. This is
definitely
This is
cash.
made for Jay.
Well, it's definitely
Not-
going to be a solid movie with that kind of cast.
Yeah.
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 Sure.
But we were just saying last week how Frank Grillo, gets to
Yeah.
stretch his wings in that movie you watched.
Wheelman.
And now it looks like he's starting to climb this ladder now, which is good.
Absolutely, I like it.
Yeah. Next story.
Sure.
CBS is relentless.
Yeah. They will take anything and bastardize it.
Hawaii Five-0.
Oh my God.
Rush Hour.
MacGyver.
We've got
Star Trek.
We've got the Magnum.
Oh, were you
thing.
building to that? I'm sorry.
We've got the Magnum thing coming down the pike when they have not confirmed whether or not he's going to have a fucking mustache.
Oh my God.
But
now they've gone too far.
Next up on that list is Stripes.
You remember?
Yes.
No.
One of the few good movies. That's right. It's a Bill Murray classic. Bill Murray classic.
Why can't they just leave some things alone?
Yeah, I
Really,
don't. I'm
really.
trashing this right off the bat.
Yeah, some things you just don't mess with because they're too good. It's like No, see, I want to use an example, and the example I want to use, I can't remember the name of.
I thought you were going to say it's already been adapted. Shit. I thought you were going to say that. 'Cause I thought
It's like
wherever you
remaking.
went.
It's like remaking Ghostbusters.
It's like trying to remake.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Right.
Forgot that happened already.
Not to put it too high, compare it too highly, but it's like trying to redo a movie like Citizen Kane. It's got
Yeah.
It's got its own mystique and its own level of notoriety all on its own. You don't want to mess with
It
it.
almost feels like a thing that doesn't even. It's not even begging to be remade in like any way, shape, or form. Like it's good, it's a classic, but it's not like something that people constantly talk about in any way, shape, or form. Like if you told me you want to make war games, I'd be like, okay, because people constantly, like, it gets mentioned quite often, or something like that. Okay, whatever.
I'm thinking about this now. I'm actually hoping that they make the sequel movie, the really bad sequel movie with all the kids of the people who were involved in the first movie.
Right.
And it pans terribly, and it just destroys this whole idea because people will forget that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, also-
they can't mess this up.
And basically, what they're talking to me, it's like, are you going to make Stripes a series? So.
Wasn't Stripes a series already? Didn't they try that in the 80s?
No, that was Private Benjamin,
Okay.
which is like Stripes with women.
Right, with women, yeah.
So they tried
With
to do
a
it.
woman.
But they tried to do it. Well, no.
Two. I'm sorry, two. Right?
Well,
It was two?
yeah. I mean, the movie was good, but then they had a show,
Yeah. Right.
and the show was terrible.
yeah. But
I say fuck this.
yeah.
I do
and
too.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
I mean, look, at this point anyway, it's a bad idea on paper. It's an unnecessary kind of thing. It's sound to me. It's like, oh, what you want to do? Mash again?
Well, that's just what I was going to say. It ends up being a thing where CBS now is the network of 80s properties now on TV.
Well, you know what?
CBS constantly borrowing stuff.
Who just made the MASH reference? Because that actually
was
brings
me.
Because that actually brings up a good point. This
Okay.
would end up being like a MASH. If you're going to try and redo something and it ends
Right.
up being something else, why don't you just redo that something else?
I mean, I get it. I can see it in a pitch meeting. It's like, think of like how what's the stupid with the two guys, the hospital show with the two guys that was on NBC forever, comedy. With Zach.
Scrubs.
Scrubs.
Scrubs, yeah.
You know how like what Scrubs is to like ER, this would be to like more serious like SEAL Team 6 shows. Like this is like us kind of being campy and goofy and like these guys getting away with murder basically. Because remember that movie's all about these guys getting away with tons of shenanigans and like real buffoonery.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? Fox had a show a few years ago,
Right.
a half-hour comedy called Enlisted,
Right,
Which was,
yes.
which was actually kind of funny. I really enjoyed that, but didn't really gain a following. It was canceled after half a season.
But this has got some branding already.
Yeah,
It's got
yeah.
some familiarity.
Let's fucking get away from this story, man.
Sounds great.
We
Sounds
spent way
great.
too much time on that fucking story.
All right. Bill, I'm just gonna say the headline here.
Okay,
and
I'll
you're gonna
take
have
it.
to- So James Franco, Simon Kinberg, and Wonder Woman scribe Alan Heinberg are teaming up on Fox's Marvel Mutant Multiple Man.
Multiple Man. Jamie Madrox, strange person from another town.
This is a movie?
Yeah. So somehow they talked James Franco into signing into a project that no one even knew was close to coming.
Before you say that, why don't you give everybody a little DL on?
A little breakdown on the old Multiple Man.
Yeah.
So Jamie Maddox, Marvel character, mutant, can basically turn himself, make multiple copies of himself. And at different points in his time, like he can control them. They do whatever he wants them to do, but they are kind of like semi-autonomous. So he can make a copy of himself, and depending on, like, I don't know how far they can get away from him before they would lose form or whatever, but they can kind of go do their own thing, and they're not apparitions, they're full-on people, you know what I mean? But they don't last very long, and he has to pull them back. He has to call them back.
There's a version of him in X-Men: The Last Stand.
Right. And so you can see that guy real quick. You don't get a lot of him and all that. But there was a cool run where he joins X Factor during Peter David's run back in the 90s, and that kind of brings him back into the kind of the conversation a little bit.
He's not somebody that they've had a lot of success using on his own.
Yeah, and he's got kind of like a left of center kind of personality a little bit, where like you think he started as a bad guy, gets kind of talked into joining the X-Men, so he's kind of always
those
like,
abilities are,
pretty.
That's pretty much it.
on paper, that's a bad guy.
You know what I mean? That's like very exploitable kind of like thing.
Right.
So what ends up being fun, I think, later on is having a good writer on that book, and then it was finding fun ways to play with it. Eventually, it shifts up where, like, his power takes a shift, and then suddenly now his multiples, like, he can't control them. He has to, make a deal with them. And I think eventually, like, at another point, one of them just pops up. Like, he didn't even know one of them had gotten away from him, this kind of stuff. So, but what's interesting here is that, like, Kinberg and Franco are working on something else together. And so the story goes that Kinberg kind of, like, pitched it to him, like, on the spot or whatever. Like, they must have been talking about comic books and all that stuff. And so maybe it's a thing where, like, there is no real kind of full-on script and development kind of a thing. It's kind of like a pitch, and it's going to move its way up. So you might not see it for a while.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
If you give it the right take, he could definitely be something, at least for one good or at least decent standalone movie.
Right. I think it's a concept that could work on its own. If you think of like something like Multiplicity, where they don't degrade like an intelligence or they get wacky like that, you could probably have a lot of fun with it. I think what's going on right now is at Fox, it's like, oh, can we get somebody who's got a name with a cool character we can kind of reinvent, or just go straight hog whatever the comic book is doing? Because it's like, I mean, obviously the Venom thing with Tom Hardy is at Sony, but that's what they're doing over there. Deadpool kind of made a point. Logan kind of made a point where it's like, if you can find the truth of the character to stick to that, what's going on over there, boys? I see some chocolate.
I would take Franco. I would take Franco as fucking Gambit. If they're gonna do a Gambit, just fucking take James Franco.
Yeah.
Let me.
I mean, at this point,
let me chime in on one thing here.
Yeah,
This
sure.
has something to do with
were you
Fox.
were you chomping at the bit? Was that what was going on?
No.
He was chomping on his
I was
fucking
actually I was
cigar.
chomping on my cigar.
I
And
think that's what that actually.
Dom was laughing at me, but I actually was thinking, because I like the
Don't
fact.
do that.
No, I like the fact that Fox has a handle on these mutants, and if they keep going the R-rated route,
Keep going.
they
the
might
more
have
mature-
something here.
Go something mature. Go single movie. Take these characters. Let them have their fun on their own.
Right.
Yeah.
Stop trying to jam 25 guys into a movie.
Yeah, so it's about a guy who clones himself, and that causes all kind of scrappy things. You know what? You change the name, just call it Multiplicity.
Yeah, right. No,
Well, I like the fact that Fox is going with this raw energy in these movies, now,
Yeah.
especially with Deadpool and Logan.
Sure.
Is what you have.
and
it
now
looks
it's
like New
upcoming,
Mutants.
and New Mutants, that they're willing to say, okay, we obviously can't get a good handle on it going what we think is straightforward. Let's just kind of follow some of these more left of center kind of projects.
Well,
Right.
Speaking of left of center, did you see the teaser for Deadpool this week?
Yes.
That came
Yes,
out.
I
That
did.
2-minute
Yes.
teaser.
It was very
Yes.
close to my heart. It was very
Yeah.
It
close
was
to my
fun,
heart.
very funny.
Bob Ross.
Gotta love it. Nothing better than when those colors started scrolling. And I was like, of course, they're going to do this bit. Of course.
God, I love cocaine.
Of course, and we'll just run the colors
Oh yeah, the
across
whole
screen.
cocaine thing. I was laughing my ass.
Cocaine light.
I'm gonna beat off again.
Happy little tree.
Are
Beat
we?
the devil out of this.
Are we at the end of the news?
We are basically at
Because
the
I
end
had
of the-
something that I wanted to throw in there.
Throw it in the ring. There's
Not really
plenty of
news.
time,
Not really
plenty of-
news.
Toss it.
All right.
But
all right.
Pixar dropped today the little teaser. It's about a little bit under a minute for Incredibles 2. That's literally my childhood right there.
Well, that'll be money in the bank for them for sure.
Well, speaking of people's childhood and trailers, there was a trailer for Rampage this week.
Yeah.
Who saw that?
I actually didn't see it, but I heard it was good. I heard it looked really
It's
great.
fun, man. It's a lot of fun.
It's interesting because it's the guy who's directing it is the guy who directed San Andreas with The
Right.
Rock. So it kind of feels like you're watching San Andreas with monsters in it now. It's
Right.
like San Andreas 2, even more crazy. Like
Yeah.
that's the subtitle.
But the thing is like it doesn't take itself seriously.
No,
and that's
but-
the fun about it.
but it tries to, as far as like making it make sense and all that. But like, yeah, there's only like one real hard joke in the trailer too, which was I was like, I felt like something was kind of missing. Like, you know what I mean? But I think I'm so used to that being The Rock. Everything The Rock's in, if it's not 100% like straightforward, like Fast and Furious, then I'm expecting every 2 seconds a joke in the trailer. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't think I think
I'm getting programmed by these movies
Right.
to anticipate that from him. I think
No,
that's the
this
thing.
is definitely whoever's played that game back in the day. You know what I mean? And then you got and Jeffrey Dean Morgan's in it too, which is cool. And he's got a couple lines in there to make you laugh. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
the old Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Schneegan Megan.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
You mean
All
like
right.
that?
All right, well, we are rolling right along.
You are
aren't we?
adorable.
That was good, Jen. Have you guys seen anything recently?
What?
Meanwhile,
Jumping the gun.
I didn't jump shit, motherfucker.
Segue right into it.
I didn't jump shit.
No, it doesn't. Well, never mind.
All right, Bill.
I think I just took that
So what do we
step
got?
into intoxication.
We'll build up
It's all
to
right.
it.
I forgive you, Jay.
All right.
All right, so I got a
Speaking of all
couple.
right.
I got a couple things in there before we get to the obvious stuff. I'm reading Ready Player One, which is a movie coming.
Yeah.
Recommend the book, especially for if you like a little touch of nostalgia, like firmly implanted into your sci-fi.
For
Right.
80s heads.
Yeah, this is it. You know what I mean? And at first, I kind of was like, all right, is this going to get annoying? Is this going to get tiresome? And it's like, all right, I've settled into it. It's just enough. It's there, but it's not getting completely like inundated every second. But the references definitely are Fast and Furious to the 80s. Totally worth your time. And
Quick read.
quick read. I'm like halfway through it already. You know, and that's the thing too. Like I want to go read it right now. It's fun.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Okay.
So which is at first it's like you know the breakdown of like what's going on in the whole place, so it gets a little bit like okay guy, like it's first person narrative, so it's like and this happened to me and that, and then like this is all set up, so it was very, I was like okay, we got to get past this first little hump of you over explaining a little bit the setup, you know what I mean,
But you're reading just in time because the film is coming out.
like around the corner, right? I
Yeah,
think it's,
and it looks fucking phenomenal.
yeah, it looks pretty crazy.
Who better than fucking Spielberg for
Yeah,
this,
you
right?
ain't kidding. You ain't kidding. So what's interesting now, though, is because the references, you know, that appear in this, because it's all about a virtual reality world where, like, you know, you can basically have like anything. So you can drive the DeLorean if you want,
Right.
and we'll just kind of leave it at that. But the references come so fast and furious in this thing from all angles. I do wonder about like what they will end up using and what they won't, and like what'll get. You know, maybe change to something else because we couldn't get the rights to that thing. Like,
Right.
because in the real world, like making a reference in a novel is different than
Yeah.
making a movie out of it. Like, you know, but I'm excited for the movie.
I'm
more than I
excited
was
for the
before.
movie too, but I know that the book came first, obviously.
yeah.
But the way I look at the movie is like, it's just fucking, fucking Shark Boy and Lava Girl to me. I don't know. From when I was a kid, literally.
Well, you know what it is?
That's literally all it
Because
is.
here's the thing: the trailer.
Not Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry.
Oh,
It's
Spy
fucking
Kids.
Spy Kids. It's Spy Kids.
Wow.
Because
Well-
Spy Kids does that whole thing with like the virtual reality type
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
That's what, like, when I see that trailer, that's what I immediately think of every
Yeah,
time.
and it is that too. Don't get me wrong. Like I kind of wonder about this as a story. Like it's so much about them being in this virtual world, where even in the book you don't deal a lot with like what he's doing outside of it. Like
Right.
it happens. Maybe more happens near the end of the book or something. He has to spend more time outside of the system, but he's spending a lot of the time in the system. So it's like, well, like, is it going to be like a disconnect? Because you're just watching a guy play a game, basically.
Well, you can just keep one thing in mind. You got Spielberg behind it.
Oh,
That's
no,
the
I'm
thing.
not
Yeah,
worried
yeah.
about it. I think it looks great, and I'm going to go see it. I'm just saying it reminds me of that, and I only bring it up because Spy Kids probably stole the idea from that book.
No, I think Spy Kids predates it because the book's not that old.
Let's hope Stallone comes out. And
I mean, Spy
Game
Kids,
over.
like, 2003, maybe.
Yeah, I don't even think the book's that old.
Oh, really? I thought it was like
or
80s.
it's similar time.
No. It's all about the 80s. It's all 80s references.
Yeah.
But
Stallone?
the book's about 10 years old.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was much older.
Yeah, loosely, it's like 2040 something,
I digress.
or a little bit later than that.
2045.
And by reasons you can read to find out, the current society becomes very obsessed with the 1980s, and so you end up reading about it constantly.
Okay.
But it's all about 80s.
Oh.
Obsessed with 80s pop culture, I should say.
It's
Yeah.
closing that August 2011.
All
is
right.
when it was first published.
All right. So
Hella recently.
hella.
Not from Thor.
Oh, okay. All right. So also,
Helen
just
of
real
Tro-
quick.
Helen of Troy was on Legends of Tomorrow this week.
My wife.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
She was.
Find out more about that on the DC TV report, right, Ed?
Mm-hmm. Definitely drops in just a few hours if I can finish editing it.
Ooh, look, it's Edo Ebert. Is it time for the DC report?
What the hell is that?
It's Homer Simpson.
That's Homer Simpson,
That
dude.
was-
Talking about
No,
it.
that's not Homer Simpson.
That was Dan Redbeard.
That's somebody doing a bit, right?
Yes, Jay.
Yeah, all right.
It's nice to see you pay
Yeah,
attention
yeah.
during the show.
That's
Yeah.
Bill getting back to his meanwhile.
Unfortunately, Dan Castellaneta was not available
No,
to record that bit.
He didn't
for
want to answer my calls.
Who's that, Grant?
No, it's Dan Redbeard. It's Danny. You see him as
yeah,
Redbeard from,
yeah, he-
from Deconstructing Dad. He sent me a big long file of all kinds of stuff
Yeah, I
during
re-
our
I re-
100th episode.
I recall.
And I realize now that this has been sitting here for 3 months, and
Look, it's Edo Ebert.
I never really used it.
He sent us some nice
DC
gifts, too.
report?
He sure did. So also, I watched 1922 on Netflix. 1922. A man's land was a man's life.
It was the year my grandfather was born.
Do you have a farm?
Year before my grandfather.
Actually, he did grow up on a vegetable farm, just not too far from here.
Thomas Jane talks like this the whole movie.
There's a Barnes and Noble on where his property used to be.
And it's dark. It's a Stephen King story.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets dark. Oh, boy, let me tell you what. It ain't good. It ain't good. I'll tell you that. Yeah, so like it's a lot of that. But Thomas Jane is like nearly like unrecognizable in it. Like I kept on being like, is he wearing like a prosthetic or is he just dirty? I can't tell, but it was like great because I kind of don't really like Thomas Jane in a lot of stuff.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah, sure can.
I've always thought Thomas Jane looked like Christopher Lambert with a beard, with like a 5 o'clock shadow,
He's definitely a cousin.
and but with like shorter hair. Is anyone?
I don't disagree, but I mean,
Dom, do you know who Christopher Lambert is?
yeah, I think.
Christopher Lambert.
Yeah,
Christopher
yeah.
Lambert.
Yeah.
The Highlander.
The question I had was,
Can be only
is this as demented as it looks in the trailers?
I'll tell you this, like, no. Like, it's actually
'Cause
not
it looks
as...
fucked up.
It's not... It is fucked up. It's one of those fucked up Stephen King things. Not like one of those, like, let's get kooky with the spirits and stuff, as it might seem. It's a lot like the madness in his own head kind of a thing. Not so much of it being a thing where it's like, okay... You can kind of walk away from it being like, okay, did that really happen, or is that just in his head?
Right.
And it feels cool with it being
Okay.
ambivalent. Sometimes that ambiguous kind of like, oh, is he imagining it or not? Sometimes that doesn't kind of sit right. For me, it's that perfect here.
Right.
But
This a series or is it a movie?
just a movie.
Netflix movie.
Netflix. Okay.
1922. The guy's got a farm and a kid and a wife and crops, corn. You know.
Okay.
And basically she wants to leave, and we can't let her leave.
Okay.
And that's all you need to know about that.
But the wife, though, has been in so much shit
Oh my God.
recently
Oh
that
my
like it's
God.
almost
Yeah.
everything I fucking watch. So like I've just come to really like her as
And
an
here's the great
actress.
thing about that.
So
like,
I want to watch it like solely for her because I know like what the twist is, obviously.
Yeah. And at first it's kind of like, all right, yeah, she's a little bit of a bitch. But then later on, you're like, oh, ew, she's. Yeah.
If you've watched her in something and she's not a raging cunt, I apologize for that word, but if she's not a raging cunt in anything
Right.
you've ever watched,
Then you haven't
then
watched the
you're
right
watching
thing.
like her early shit.
Neil McDonough's in this movie. He
That's
was
Molly Parker, by the way. She
Molly
plays
Parker.
Jackie on House of Cards.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's also from Deadwood. I know.
And
her.
everything else that you've ever seen in the past like 6 years.
Yeah, she went hot after Deadwood, man.
Yeah. But Neil McDonough's in this movie. He was on Legends of Tomorrow this past week.
How about that?
How does it compare to Gerald's Game?
It feels like it might be the same production company.
They're on the
so-
right track with
Yeah,
these
yeah.
adaptations of
Yeah.
King stuff.
Yeah.
Good.
I
That's good to
don't
hear.
really remember is that the door? Or was that just somebody dropping a bowling ball upstairs?
I'll fucking kill
The
somebody.
door's open, right?
Yeah,
okay.
the door's open.
I think it was
someone's
Is
just-
somebody fucking around out
Bowling
there?
Could be.
I think it was my chair. I think it was
Oh,
my chair.
all right.
Jay, you just scared the shit out of me.
What did you do? Did you reach over there?
No, I thought somebody was coming in. I would have fucked somebody up.
Oh, there was a look on his face or
I
something?
think we got numbers.
No, it was just
I
how
think we got
fast it
numbers.
was like, oh, what was that? Is someone outside? I'm going to fucking kill somebody.
Oh, I missed it then. I didn't catch that at all.
I think
Just years of growing up in Newark.
I think. Are we ever gonna get through Bill's full? Meanwhile,
We got it. It's good. It's good. Tom, we are 35 minutes in. We got time. We're burning. We're burning through it.
I gotta head out a little bit early though,
Oh,
and
that's
I want to
right.
get to that pitch for his pitch.
Fair enough. All right. So last thing is I didn't catch a lot of it. I'm only like 3 or 4 episodes into Punisher.
Never mind.
And what? That's a couple.
That's 2 that haven't. That don't
2 down
have it,
for no
so-
PvP.
So scrap it.
We'll roll it to next week.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna roll the pitch for his
It
pitch.
totally slipped my mind.
All right. So
Pitch for his pitch postponed next week.
So that means people listening can get theirs in too.
What was
if
it
they
called?
haven't.
Yeah,
It
wrestling.
was
Get to it,
about
buddy.
about damn time.
Oh.
Is the name
You
of
mean
it.
Ed's experience watching Justice League?
Yeah, that's the first thing.
That's
he said.
my pitch.
He yelled that every 3 minutes.
Yeah.
About
I
damn
actually,
time.
Yeah, I actually have a concept for it, but I got to flush it out.
There you go. Flush it out or flush it out.
Flush it out.
Oh, I like that better.
I need a drink.
So Punisher. Yeah, I got 4 episodes in. 3 episodes last night.
4. I'm 5.
Okay, 4. You got an extra 1 on me.
Yeah.
I really wish I'd clocked more. Just didn't get to it. But really good so far.
It's building. and
It's built, but it is doing
even
a
after
build.
5, I could say it's still building.
Yeah, it is doing a build kind of thing. I'll have to agree with that for sure. So
Yeah.
I really can't review it very much. I think
agree.
I'm the only one that's clocked any. I think, right?
I haven't seen any of it yet.
Fair enough. All right. So then with that, let's work up to Justice League. All right. So let's go over to let's do Jay because I know the Star Trek thing will go long. So Jay.
So I'll play devil's advocate and just say I didn't go see it because I figure it's gonna be another crappy DC movie. Just kidding, guys.
I think that's why the numbers aren't doing what they thought they were going to do.
To
this
be
week.
fair, Bill, you need to go to Ed
Ed
first.
almost blew his top right there.
I need to go to Ed first. Ed
You
has-
need to go to Ed.
Before,
Well,
yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Ed.
What? No, I was.
Give the floor to Ed.
well, I'm trying to kind of.
Yeah, no.
I literally said I'm building to that.
building to that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd rather do your stuff, Jay, because it's different stuff.
Yeah,
And then
All right, well then-
Bob, and then.
Oh, I thought you meant Justice League.
If we're gonna do that, then I have one meanwhile that's actually not on the dock that I'll,
All right,
I'll just
yeah,
throw
throw
out
it
there
out,
real quick.
throw it
Anybody that lives in the tri-state area, the day has finally fucking come. We have an alternative station back on the radio. They finally fucking took 92.3
Oh, that's
now
right. That's right.
and turned it into an alt rock station. So if you want to hear any 90s grunge, any alternative and not just pop
Oh, so
or
they-
hip hop that's on the radio.
They got rid of that 10-year, 20-year experiment
Yeah.
after Howard Stern left.
Yeah.
No,
right.
this was
And they went back.
This was the alternative station that it is now. Then it was a pop station for a while,
Yeah.
like the pop station in New York. Like it was like
Right.
bigger than Z100 at one point,
Yeah, for a little while.
and now they just turned it out of nowhere
Yeah.
into an all rock station. So
This is what they do. Radio stations just they
fucking,
just
it's like
flip.
it's literally, dude. It's like a dream come true. I mean, I like hip hop obviously, so I don't mind the
Right,
radio
but the
right
New
now.
York dial
But
turned
anybody
it-
that doesn't
yeah.
like
Yeah.
hip hop, they've probably been dying for the past like five to 10 years.
Well, because
however long it's been.
us rock guys have been dying since like the 1990s.
Well, I just mean
In New
when it
York.
comes to the radio.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Well, that's what we're talking about. In the radio in New York, like
Yeah.
like the shakeup happened where like every rock station that had been here for 60 years fucking flipped formats, and either they went to talk or now they're sports or whatever, or they kind of keep changing. And so that's the thing. It's like how long is it going to be an
there's
old rock station? Now?
One classic rock station, and from within we're also within distance of 2 heavy metal stations. One's a college station, which does a lot
Right.
of alternative, really alternative stuff that
Yeah.
you wouldn't normally hear on the radio at all anywhere. So you really don't know what you're getting there. And then the other one is kind of hit and miss depending on where you are. It's not knowing that you're even going to get it.
Yes.
Right.
And it's still very commercial.
Right.
But this is all rock, but you got to keep in mind too that a lot of the grunge stuff now is considered classic because it's 25. It's been 25
No,
years.
yeah.
So you
That's
get
all- yeah.
you get some quote unquote
Yeah.
classic rock through like Pearl Jam and Nirvana
Yeah, right.
on this station. But it depends on what you consider classic rock, obviously.
And I think it depends on what you call alt too, because I heard a couple of tracks on there. I was like, okay, this is them trying to give it a different flavor and feel.
Right.
You know, by mixing
Well,
in
that's the
some
beautiful
more
thing about
current
it.
things too.
Right.
There's a little bit more current stuff.
Exactly.
Like 92.3 K Rock back in the days was stuck a little bit in an era. They really wouldn't play much new unless it was like much like any classic rock band. Like, we're not going to play anything new unless it's a new track from ZZ Top. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, you know, or hey, Billy Joel's got a new song.
But
We'll play that.
That's the beautiful thing about it is
Right.
that it's not you hear like it's one new track, one vintage track.
Right.
You know,
They-
so
they-
it's
they
like
try and
it's a
broaden it a
really
little
good
bit.
mix. Really good
Texas
mix.
town.
So with that, Jay, you caught Stranger Things too?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. What'd you think?
I had a good time, man.
Yeah?
You know what? Being that the fact that I was that age at that time,
Oh, okay.
so it kind of hits home when
Sure.
of all the things that were going on at the time and
Right.
and whatnot.
Growing up in Indiana.
Yeah, I mean, well, no, things were. I wasn't quite like them because I was a little more gruff.
You weren't leaving your bike outside your house at night, were you?
No, not at all.
Not at all. Just dropping it in the driveway, right?
But you know what? It just goes. It is really great entertainment.
Sure.
These guys, the Duffer Brothers. I mean, they're really good.
Sure.
I'm trying to compare it to last season, and I think that last season because it was a new thing.
Yes.
And whatnot. So I think it's just like more of that, but it's not inferior in any way.
right,
I think
right.
that
It's on par. It may not have completely surpassed season 1 in any major way.
No,
but
not
it's,
at
but it's
all.
not worse.
The freshness is gone.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that.
Right, but I did like they brought in some new characters, and that was cool.
Yeah.
I got to point out
Austin?
Sean Astin, man.
He's a highlight. He's actually a highlight of the season.
He's so fun. You know what I mean? He's just
His big dumb smile is like infectious in that show.
right. You know
He's
what
like
I mean?
too happy to do stuff, and he's just like, "Hey guys, I'll help. Whatever. Hey, it's all cool. I'm a nice guy."
But I haven't gotten past like the first 3 episodes.
Fair enough.
But like, so that's cool that you guys are saying that. I'm fine with that because I like him.
Mm-hmm.
But at that point where I'm at, it kind of feels like he could take a weird turn.
You're right.
Because
You're actually right.
because we all want him. We
And they
all
do-
want her to end up with the sheriff, obviously.
Right.
So like,
And it is supposed to feel like that, right around there.
Right.
After watching one of the after show things, they were talking about how like there is kind of like a point around episode 3 or 4 where like
because he's too quirky and he's too much. Like,
right,
you know?
and, yeah, it feels like something's up here.
Right.
But there's but the thing is, it's not predictable. At
No,
all either,
not really,
because there's
no.
a lot of different things that are going on. Like I didn't
Sure.
expect it to do this and do that. And Paul Reiser is great because there's a huge homage to aliens in this.
Yeah, wow.
Big time, especially the last episode.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say. But this is a cash, and I enjoyed myself very much.
All right, very nice, very nice. And I see you have lent me a book.
Huh?
And you've lent me a book.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Sorry.
I didn't want to come between you and your sip. You could have
My
had your
scotch.
sip.
No, it's okay.
So,
yeah, hang on a minute.
yeah. You teased yourself by getting it so close.
No, I read. I haven't read a trade paperback in a long while,
Right.
And so I decided to read in the form of Walking Dead. Here's Negan, which gives you the backstory of, where Negan comes from in a way, and a lot of this was sprinkled in different.
Well, this was because I read this, and where it came from was Image was pushing their Image Plus series
It's a promotional.
with this inside of it. So like it was a $1 or $2 big monthly that they would put out where it would have like all
In-house
previews
promotions.
and shit
Right.
for Image books, and then at the very end they would have like a short story about Negan,
Right.
and that's what this is.
Yeah, it's all put together.
Now they just put it together in the trade.
And and I enjoyed it because as someone who read the books before, I always like spin-off books. You know what I mean? That deal with
Sure.
the same world, and
Yeah.
he's a popular character, and you're rather interested on his
Tyrese has a good
backstory.
one shot. Yeah.
And I feel that they cover that ground. It's not conclusive, but all the points are there, and I
Right.
think it's a really quick read. You read it in a half hour, and it's a nice little book.
Yeah, it's you get to see what makes him the way he is,
Right.
without really getting to see what made him the way he is.
Yeah, it's
like,
not definitive.
It's you get the bottom, you get the beginning of the decline, but you don't get the climax of it.
Right.
Yeah. And
What really pushes him over the edge is what you don't get, which
Right.
is
they
really
wrote it in
smart. I could hear myself.
We are so
There's an echo.
We are so popular that you can hear our show on our
Sorry,
show.
I didn't realize the volume wasn't off on that.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I just joined the chat.
No, but I'm glad that they didn't like I mean, it's not definitive,
Right.
but you get the point.
Right. Well, it's better off sometimes that you're left in the dark with things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that the thing that's kind of I'm interested in seeing is that now that this is collected, because he wrote it like a very truncated kind of style, so that he could kind of like blast through the timeline.
Right.
So it's like you only kind of see the quote unquote important stuff, or the
Right,
stuff that he feels like he wants to show right now of this story of him from when the outbreak starts to kind of like present,
Right.
more or less.
Right.
But like it does these jumps, so you'll just kind of see panel work
Right.
where it's like it's a campfire. And then it's a campfire again, and the next panel, and then the next panel. But each one of these panels is a further along period, so the people around him keep changing.
Like you
know what
see
I
him
mean?
befriending these people,
And
and they're
losing them.
traveling with him,
Right.
and they're dead. You know what I mean? Because they were inferior to his ways, and
But it's the way that they just do it in this clipped kind of storytelling fashion, where it's
Yeah.
like don't really even explain things, just kind of like it's all from inference. And, it's
And I
like,
liked it on that level.
Yeah, exactly. And,
Kirkman is very good at that.
Yeah.
That
He's
is-
good with ideas, just not good at putting it all out there.
sometimes it depends.
So he uses it to his advantage.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, well, I would too, probably.
well, I've noticed with his writing, I haven't read that much Walking Dead,
Right.
but also I've on Thief of Thieves, which he's co-written. He has
Yeah.
this sort of style where it's just kind of sprawling,
Right.
and it's very economical, and it draws you in, and it's the kind of thing, especially when you're reading in a graphic novel form, you can't tell where the issues,
Yeah.
where the breaks are. It's
Right.
very seamless.
Yes, and I think it's a nice touch. I mean, as far as, but it's not very long.
no, it's not. It's a quick read, and like I was familiar with Kirkman when there was a book he did called Brit many years ago.
Yep. I know it.
He was like a middle-aged superhero kind of a guy, you know, and I was crazy for that shit. You
Yeah,
know
it was
what I
one of those more intense ones he was doing
yeah,
back then.
it was so damn good. You know what I mean? So I like his version of storytelling, but I get
Sure.
it. There's, it's not completely definitive, but definitely check it out. It's a nice little trade paperback that Barnes & Noble put out, and they give you a copy of Walking Dead 100, a variant of Walking
okay.
Dead 100 with
That's
it.
cool.
So, and I read that right after I read.
Sure.
So it was really, like, I've read it before, but it was nice to just revisit that. And it's kind of like I just went through an experience with Negan going through this
Right. Nothing but
To-
happy times.
to
times, good times.
him bashing Glenn's head in. So definitely cash.
Spoiler. Oh, spoiler on that one.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah, statute of limitations up on that one.
Yeah, a little bit. All right. All right. So that kind of brings us to Bob.
Huh? Oh, what? No, I'm kidding. I know,
Bob's
yeah.
got.
Star Trek stuff and nothing.
Yeah. Literally, that's what it says.
Yeah, well, because it kind of has to do with more than just Star Trek, but it's all related Star Trek.
Sure.
Okay.
Right? Because
Right.
I've been kind of on a Star Trek binge since I had this vacation time.
Gotcha.
First, is I want to talk about the Orville.
Okay. Sure.
'cause-
Yeah, I'm behind on that. Let me know. It's holding up.
It's definitely holding up. There was a bit in the news the other day about how they got renewed for another season, but they actually are going to be taking one of the last episode of the season and tacking it onto the beginning of the next season.
Well, that's weird.
Yeah, the article I read didn't really specify, but it just sounds like that maybe that was a two-parter, and they wanted to leave on a high note on the end of the first season originally, and now they want to, since it's such a dramatic thing, they want to leave it as a cliffhanger just to lead into the new season. That's my thinking anyway.
Right. Sure. Or maybe it was going to be a two-parter, and they're like, you know what? Let's do a 2-hour season premiere with that, like a season 2, like 2-hour. I mean, maybe.
Yeah,
Who's to say?
yeah. We don't know what's happening yet, but you know.
All right. That's interesting, though.
Yeah, I was just thinking they probably weren't going to assume that they were going to automatically be renewed.
Fair enough.
You know, but anyway, so as far as that goes, the 10 episodes in now, and wow, this is everything I think we would really want in a really good sci-fi show if they could just not write straight up comedy episodes. If they worked the comedy into all the episodes and didn't just do those 1 or 2 episodes a season where it's just like it's all comedy.
Right. Some are more of a romp episode where it's like even the main story is a goof.
Yeah, because
Okay.
they're always doing things that go against type and for sci-fi. Excuse me.
Right.
And they're always doing things that sci-fi nerds have pointed out have always been issues with science fiction stuff like this. Like,
Okay.
Like in the past, I talked about the box that no one could open, and so the chief engineer goes and gets an ancient drill, puts a hole in it. There you go, problem solved.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's always been those kinds of issues with science fiction, with these kinds of shows, especially a show like Star Trek, which relies on tons of technical explanations to get out of stuff.
Right. Where sometimes a more logical, easy way.
Yeah. The people here are more personable, they're more natural, they're more almost like real life because of the humor when they put the humor into the episodes.
Right.
As opposed to making a comedy episode, you kind of take away from what it is a little bit, I think, what they're trying to do ultimately. Because they do everything really well. They don't get into issues with things like transporters. I was telling you this the other day, because there are no transporters on the show.
Right.
I haven't seen anybody transport anywhere, and I've seen episodes where ships have been side by side, and people have actually used a shuttlecraft,
Right.
to go from one ship to the other. Okay, so they're not getting into those easy out
Yeah, because that was
situations.
always
That was always the thing with like the Next Generation.
It becomes a
Next
crutch.
Generation. It became right. So if you don't have the crutch to begin with, you don't get to use it. You don't start using that tool that way.
Yeah, that's cool.
Right. So I think in a lot of respects, it's probably one of the best sci-fi shows around.
Oh shit.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Because of that. If they could just get away from the straight up comedy episodes.
Right. Keep it as more of an even blend as opposed to leaning so hard some weeks.
Right.
And then
Because
other weeks not as hard.
Right. Right now, most of the episodes tend to feel similar to in tone to Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay. Yeah. Right. That's
Right.
still stuff.
Because it's more of a familial kind of interaction between everybody.
Right. We bust each other's
So
chops.
that's where the humor comes in. That kind of thing. And other times it's reminds me of Farscape.
Okay, sure. Which was another one I played.
Right.
Played with some comedy. Yeah.
Right. So if they keep doing like that and just get out of that.
Yeah, more like Farscape, because
yeah.
Farscape, where it wasn't comedy, but it was funny moments, or it was funny things, or funny, like just realizations of what this stupid situation is, kind of a thing. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, I could see that. I could see that.
Well, even this most recent one, which was just aired, which had Rob Lowe playing the blue guy, who the girlfriend, the ex-wife, gets caught with in the very first episode.
Right.
Well, shoots blue stuff out of his head.
Right. Yes. He
Right.
ejaculates from his head, basically.
So basically, Rob Lowe played that guy.
Nice.
Come back. So this was an opportunity for the whole episode to have humor.
Right.
And be ultimately about relationships and stuff.
Sure.
But it's not. It doesn't feel like it's being preachy. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It does, and the humor doesn't really feel forced as much as it is situation comedy kind of stuff.
Right.
Because there's other stuff going on around the ship that they got to deal with.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That episode also leans into a legend, a Hollywood legend, is that Rob Lowe is the only person who, no matter every single person he comes into contact with, swoons over him.
Right. Okay.
That's true. That's true. That's an aspect I didn't quite really get in.
Yeah.
But I get right.
Then they were playing into that. They were leaning into that. He's so good looking
out-
that even guys are like, oh, hey.
Yeah, well,
hey.
that's part of what happened with Seth MacFarlane's character. He falls in love with him, and I think they actually imply sex
Okay.
because they're in bed together.
It's the future, man.
But
People get down in the future.
yeah, but spoiler alert.
There you go.
But,
And he's blue. And he, it's a
right.
different thing. It's a different species.
Right.
It's a different. I'm sure that
there's all sorts of levels to the comedy, and it's.
I mean, I'm sure
ultimately it is a comedic episode, but because they're not just. I don't know. There's something about it that just seems like because it's more story driven while things are going on.
Sure.
It gives it more acceptability.
I can see that.
You know what I mean? Anyway.
Yeah. What else did you watch?
So anyway, the Star Trek Discovery has just finished up their half season.
Okay.
There's, I guess you call it the summer season.
Yeah, mid-season break.
I can catch up now.
Did you sign up for the service, Ed?
I have not yet. I keep saying this weekend, and someday happens and it doesn't roll around. So.
Yeah. Well, you've been busy the last
You're
couple
riding this solo. What does that feel like?
Yeah. Well, I wish he would actually be.
Yeah.
Bob's feeling like I'm
Slacking, boy.
Yeah. But so as far as they got their mid-season break, right? So this is a Star Trek show that really doesn't feel like a Star Trek show because every episode kind of feels more like a short action movie.
Okay.
All right, more or less, and a lot of the characters don't play out. I mean, they don't play out like Star Trek characters. There's things that went on in the last episode I saw, which was leading into the big break, which had me feeling things I hadn't felt in a while watching sci-fi.
He had some feels, though. He was
Seriously.
Getting feels.
I don't like putting things out there like that.
It over dramatizes it a little bit.
Right,
I get you.
Right.
Yeah.
But it. I mean, everything on TV. I've seen the stories before. You know.
Right.
So it's just a matter of how you tell them and everything. But
when you see something that feels different.
Right. This time it was like, holy fuck! They're gonna do something 133 times. That's whenever they do it once is torturing this guy.
Right.
And now they're going to do it 133 friggin' times in like 4 friggin' minutes.
Okay.
So are they going to kill off the character because this is the mid-season thing? Is this because this happens? Is this what's going to cause events to occur the way I've heard that they occur at the end of this break?
Right.
All this stuff's going on in my head. So I'm waiting and anticipating how this plays out.
Right.
And I haven't felt that way in a long time.
About a thing that's not really Star Trek.
Right.
It's an odd place to be, right? Like I don't. It's almost like it's not like
you're having a good time with it, though.
You're having a better time than you kind of.
If this show
explain.
was done in the future, instead of supposed to be 10 years before the original show,
right?
They'd have really no question about anything that's going on in the show as far as the Klingons or anything. They could kind of explain it all away, and I'd probably be happy.
Right.
You know what I mean? But because it's
that's
early,
the only hang-up.
Those are the only real hang-ups. You know, the way that they're writing the show, it's very. This isn't a morality play, but everything is it's kind of like a mini action movie.
Right.
You know.
Cool. For what it is, you're enjoying yourself.
So for what it is, right? For what it is, as far as being sci-fi, I'm enjoying it.
Because I will watch it. I do want to watch that.
One other thing I want to mention. I actually
this is the one I want.
This is bunch of fans went and made a while ago. They made a Star Trek movie starring themselves. Among them was Grant Imahara from MythBusters.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, and some other people. They're all just really hardcore Star Trek fans.
What's it called?
They made a. I can't remember the name of the original movie, but they got from the movie. They got a Kickstarter together, and they got funded, and they did 11 episodes, and they remade basically the entire Enterprise.
From the original series.
From the original series.
Wow.
Cool.
And they made 11 episodes to fill in this 2-year period after the show ends, but the quest from the original Enterprise hadn't ended yet. The original 5-year quest.
Yeah, right.
So they wrote these episodes to fill in everything. And once you get past the people playing the roles, and early on, some of the weaker acting, I mean, they're nailing this like nobody should be able to nail this.
Right.
I mean, the guy who plays Captain Kirk, okay, he's a writer. He's one of the guys who writes and directs, and he's a producer. And
it seems like his project in a way, right?
Yeah, and
because his name is everywhere.
Yeah, he's got a big hand in it. He's got the mannerisms of James T. Kirk down pat. He's got him cold. I mean, to the littlest things, like holding his hand a certain way when he's sitting down.
Right.
I mean, literally. My throat's getting dry.
Star Trek continues.
Yeah,
though,
Star Trek continues. They've actually had people come on from the original series, and have guest spots like Apollo. Remember the Apollo episode of the original series?
Who mourns for Adonis?
Right. He comes back for the very first episode as Apollo.
Oh, cool.
But now he's a lot older, and they're trying to figure out why, because only 2 years have passed since they last saw him on right when the last time they ran into him. So this whole story's got to come in, and this guy really is older. So, and they do everything in a low budget 60s TV kind of way, even to the point where they make sure that they're acting the way the actors were acting back in that day.
It feels like 1960s acting.
Cool.
Right. So and it's really, really well for what it is. It's really, really well done. It's really well edited. It's got cutscenes out in space where you see the Enterprise. It's got a lot of CG work. I mean, I was really blown away by everything that they do there. Scotty is actually played by the Chris Doohan, who is the son of James Doohan,
Oh, cool.
The original Scotty.
original Scotty.
Right.
Okay, so
And I'm looking at the
Mar-
website here that Ed's got up. It won a bunch of awards too.
I was blown away. I was laughing because of the way things were so familiar to me. Like at certain points, at certain shots,
There were just camera
the way
angles.
Captain Kirk is like in the room sitting down, it's just like, oh crap, that looks like Captain Kirk.
You watched it too, Bill?
You know,
So I watched.
it was funny because I ran across it the same day he gave me a link that I didn't see because it ran so fast down my Twitter feed.
They did their last episode, so it must have got some traction. So I saw an article, saw this clip montage that they did. It's like a 4-minute clip montage, and I was like, oh. And they were putting like the episode titles in the corner, you know? And I got to see like a bunch of guest stars that pop up.
Yeah.
And just kind of a whole bunch of shit. But some of these shots where it was just like, literally like, they must have been taking like, just watching episodes and being like, okay, pause it. That's a classic Star Trek angle, well, you know, with this in the background, this guy over here and that guy over there, because that's all it took for me to see like one or two of those and be like, wow, these guys have down, like, they do it in the same aspect ratio too.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they don't miss a beat. They have this thing.
All the music cues.
Yeah, they have all the music from the show. They have all the cutscene material from the original show, where outside of the ship. Some of the stuff that they're using looks like it's taken from the re-releases, because some of the outside scenes look really nice. But that could actually be them doing things. I don't know.
You would swear they were shooting on the original sets because of just the way the colors all match up, the way that some, you know, just weird things where, like, you know, in one of those back rooms where they would kind of just have meetings real quick, like, and it has some kind of just some stupid purple soft light that's on the wall for no good reason. Like, that's there too. Like, you know, just these weird aesthetic things.
Like blood, sweat, and
Like
tears.
the
When
types
it's,
of, remember the material that they had for the blankets on the beds, which is kind of
yeah,
that beaded kind of material. They got that. I mean, it's they nailed everything.
Oh, nice.
Literally.
And it's and a lot of the guest stars that pop up. Like, I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but
like,
in case they want to check it out. But the guest stars that do pop up, there's some funny ones, man. It's really interesting
and if they
stuff.
don't have a spot for you in the cast, right? But they want to have like a guest spot with you. They made you the voice for the computer for that episode.
Oh, cool.
So,
okay.
So like Marina Sirtis, who was Deanna Troi,
right?
She was the voice on the very first episode of the computer. What's her name came back and was the voice. She reprised her role. She
From
was
the original run.
Roddenberry's ex-wife.
Majel Barrett.
Majel Barrett. She was the voice for an episode.
Okay.
John
that's
John
impressive.
DeLance was in the 2-part finale.
Q, right?
Yeah, Q. And they were using simple ideas like you would see in the 60s, so that they could use simple effects, like, you know what I mean, or try and replicate simple effects.
Oh, cool.
Like the finale was, they were on a planet that when they landed down there, you couldn't see color, and it was just because the radiation in the air in the sun made it so that you couldn't see color.
Right.
And the people on the planet for 1,000 years haven't had color. And then there's a whole issue because like some of them are not the same color anymore. You know what I mean?
So social stuff is still in there, like the old show was.
Yeah, they did. They
and
did
they
some
approach it in
morality.
a very like from a 1960s kind of mentality and perspective too, right? It's not like, oh, it feels like oh, modern people are now trying to tackle that.
If at first you watch this and you're just watching this knowing modern techniques,
sure,
then you might think that this is amateurishly done. But they're not doing it in an amateurish way. They're doing it in a way that in every aspect is faithful to the 1960s.
Right, yeah, which then then that becomes a thing where it's like, well, then I guess maybe that was amateur.
Right. So when one of the actors is overacting, it's because the actor that did that was overacting then.
Everybody did a little bit back then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was actually really, really cool to watch. I binged the whole thing pretty much in like 2 days.
Hard recommendation.
Yeah, definitely. They have what's the website? It's StarTrekContinues.com, right?
Yep. Yeah, Ed's already on it.
And
he signed up. He's got T-shirts
episodes.
coming.
It's easy to find them. They're right there. Watch them. They're a blast. You'll get a kick out of them at the very least.
There you go, Ed. You got more homework to do.
Yeah, by the end of it, I found myself watching it just to watch it.
Cool.
Watching it just to watch it.
Yeah.
That's what Ed was saying.
Yeah. I want to say one last thing on it. The only real bad acting or real flaw for the whole thing overall, and I don't like mentioning this guy's name, is Grant Imahara's acting.
The guy from Mythbusters.
The guy from Mythbusters, because he does. Remember, if you don't notice, Sulu in the original series by the end of the episodes he was in, he was talking like this. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Where
doing
he
this
had a
thing,
more
yeah.
normal, natural voice. Later on, he changed it to that "oh my" voice he has now.
Oh my.
So he's trying to do that, and it doesn't really work. And on top of that, he doesn't know how to overact, but that doesn't feel like overacting. So everything
It's a
with him
sweet
is
spot.
overacted.
It
you
is
know
a
what I
sweet
mean?
spot.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Like you'll see, like at one point, the two women are holding him hostage because he's mad he can't help his captain. He looks like a pouting baby. He's like scrunched up whole face, and he's like that mad kid.
Being hammy.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So you'll see, if you watch all the episodes, you'll see one or two things like that. Other than that, everything's fine. I'd say Grant just dialed down a little bit.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Go check it out, people.
I have one
Definitely
quick
cash.
Yeah.
cash.
Cash.
I have one quick thing I want to promote.
Okay.
A buddy of mine, my
We're all here.
yeah, no, my best friend who's not in this
We're
room,
all here.
who is not in this room.
Oh.
Could it be Satan?
He doesn't usually like having his name said on podcasts, but I will say it now.
Uh-oh.
Stephen Lamort.
Stephen Lamort,
Yes.
the Arthur.
Yeah. My buddy over in Cali, made a movie that has been released in video on demand.
Oh.
You can go to Amazon and rent it or buy it. It's called Never Leave Alive. It's a modern day adaptation of the most dangerous game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it stars John Hennigan, who you might also know as WWE superstar Johnny Nitro. And I'll read the synopsis here. A legendary big game hunter becomes trapped on a deserted island and is hunted down by a sociopathic ex-KGB agent in a booby-trapped jungle. This is just pure popcorn fun.
Yes.
If you're not doing anything on a Saturday afternoon before our show starts, and you just want to kick back and watch people shoot at each other and jump over and make explosions and stuff.
Some barrel rolls.
Well, I saw it when Ice-T did it, called "Surviving the Game."
There you
Remember
go.
that with
Yeah,
Rutger
sure.
Hauer, and
Sure.
which was cool. Yeah, so he took that property. Did he have the rights to take that property?
Yeah, it's public domain.
It's public domain. I see. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's like an old short story, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's an old film too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But it was an old. That's where it started. It was a short story,
Yeah,
right?
short-
I think
yeah.
I read it in school. It's called something else, though.
The most dangerous.
Oh, it
game.
is the most dangerous game,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, the movie's called Never Leave Alive.
Never leave alive.
Never Leave Alive.
I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna put it in the chat room so people don't forget.
Yeah, please check that out. It's
Legally, because that's the whole point behind this.
Yeah. Let's
Yeah.
get these guys some clicks.
Yeah. It's $3.99 on Amazon.
Nice,
Steve, best of luck, huh?
nice, very nice.
If you go to a comic shop, you pay $3.99 for something that takes you 15 minutes to read. Here, $3.99. Here's 2 hours of your time.
Yeah. Go $3.99. Get the DVD with Ice-T.
Get the DVD, not the Blu-ray.
What else we got, Chief?
They don't make a Blu-ray.
It's not
for
on
that.
Blu-ray.
That's what I mean.
I think there's a movie that people. have
Yeah,
been wanting
man.
to
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's get it out of the way.
Well,
You guys are gonna have to walk the line, but I mean, let's not get too spoilerific. But this is some Justice League talk coming
now,
at you.
Jay, should we go first
No.
and save the best for last?
No.
Okay.
I really like this movie. I think it was really good.
What movie is it in?
It's called Justice League.
It's a
Okay.
league
Yes.
for justice.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. a
All right.
league
So
of-
it's like the UN.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
no, not really.
No, they're just They're just like a party.
No, because they
Is-
punch
is-
things and blow things up. So
I think there's
is this that
equal
the whole
col-
thing with Donald Trump
No,
no,
Oh.
no.
I don't know what
I
that
think
was.
with the UN.
No. Go ahead, Ed.
So yeah. I've been waiting for this movie for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah, we know.
And I've been very worried
uh-huh.
about
Yes, we know.
what this is going to be, and this delivered.
I'm really fucked
By
up.
this
man.
movie, you mean a good DC movie or the
Yeah.
specific movie?
Well, it's funny, like the way they're starting out this cinematic universe. The first movie in this thing was Wonder Woman, which came out a few months ago, and now we're starting out. It's funny that they're starting off with the premise that Superman has died, and I think that's a bold move to say, like, this is the one thing that's going to bring everyone together, and I really, really enjoyed the way they're pulling this off, and the tone. Because that's the one thing when you have multiple directors that I was really worried about was going to be the tone, and they nailed it. The characters work together. I like the way that, the one knock you can have on the Avengers movies is that they're punching. And that's all they do, and you don't really know who's more powerful than the other. In this, everyone has defined roles. Aquaman and Wonder Woman are the muscle. Flash does a lot of background work and fixing things. Batman's
he cleans up as they go?
Yeah.
Okay.
Batman's the man with the plan. Cyborg does the tech stuff.
Oh.
And then, and they're
I
all...
thought that was Batman's job.
Yeah, and they're all trying to clear the way for someone to come in and save the day.
And that's Alfred.
Yeah.
Okay. I can believe it. Jeremy Irons comes in and he's like, I've got this all under control.
I was the way you said it there. I was thinking Mighty Mouse.
That's true.
You have no idea.
You have no idea.
I'll just say that for anyone that hasn't caught on, that was a bit that I just did. That was a bit. That was a joke.
It was bitish. It was bitish.
There were a few other movies that started the DCEU, but we won't speak about those tonight due to controversy issues.
Fuck that. No, you go right to the beginning.
Well, I just don't think we need to.
Batman 1989.
I don't think we need to open up the can. We're fucking talking about Justice League.
We're talking about Justice League.
We're going to stay focused.
I was just giving people a little bit of context, saying that there was a movie before this that set this up. We got introduced to one character, and they made one good movie, and then they decided to throw 6 more on top of it.
Right. So it was a joke, and we all acknowledge that. We love it.
We're loving it.
I'll just go ahead and say that.
What are your thoughts?
It's good. It's a good film.
Okay. All right.
I really liked it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It does something that no Marvel team movie has been able to do in terms of team dynamic.
Okay.
And relationship building and bonding.
Well, they really feel like a team? Is that what you're saying?
It actually feels
like a unit?
like people that know each other's personally.
Okay.
As well, because I was just telling Ed and Jay before, I don't think, as much as I love the Marvel team movies, I don't buy the bond between any of them.
Like the chumminess. It doesn't feel like genuine or earned.
Right. And this and it's amazing, and this is probably where Joss Whedon comes in. It's amazing how they pulled it off just in one movie and like in a half a movie, really, because it really catches up to itself like midway through the movie where you're like, wow, these people actually like are together on this,
Okay.
So that's huge to me. I think there's really a consensus on this movie where it's like story was okay, really good movie altogether, but the graphics, the CGI just lacks at certain points, and it kind of it pulls you out. But it's not a deterrent to the movie to me at all. I think it's something that if you're ultra critical about that specifically,
right.
In general with movies, you might get pulled out of it a little bit. But I don't think it hurts. I don't think it hurts the story. Too much.
That sounds nice.
That's basically really. I mean, aside from that, there's really no other complaints.
Yeah. I think this is one thing where like Dom and I, we were talking about this earlier, had a real issue with Henry Cavill's upper lip. But evidently that was not a problem at all for Jay.
Right, exactly.
I didn't realize it, so I don't know.
So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm someone that's kind of critical of CGI, and it bothers me and pulls me out of movies and TV when it's not perfect. Especially when it's ultra saturated in a movie like this, like where it just feels like there's no practical effects whatsoever. It's just pure CGI. It almost feels like you're playing a video game at some point. Like there's certain action scenes where it's like, am I playing Injustice right now?
Well, I think that happens with a lot of movies that have to have. I mean, by nature of the story, I think that happens a lot actually nowadays because so many movies depend on having such a CG heavy scene that like you almost can't help it.
True.
I just think it's worth mentioning that just in case people don't know.
Okay.
The issue with the upper lip is that he had during the reshoots he had a mustache that he had to keep for another thing he was doing. Right. So Superman was running around on set with a mustache.
Right.
And they had to edit that out through CG.
For one scene.
And the problem is that Henry Cavill only shot in the reshoots. So there's not one scene in the movie of Superman without it.
There are some stuff. There is some stuff if you look.
I don't think so. I mean, like you saw it twice, obviously you know better than I do, but it was something that every time he was on screen, I just couldn't pay attention to what was going on because of it.
I had
so
no
obvious
idea.
to me.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it is the very first scene of the movie, and I think that's why you notice it and you're looking for it afterwards.
Well, I think it it's an interesting thing though that ultimately you two both knew about it going in. And
I had no idea.
Oh, you had no idea either?
I only found out about this today because I watched John Campia from Complex do a recap of it.
Right.
And
he's at Complex now? Or the Collider?
the same company. It's Collider is owned by
I didn't realize
Complex. I'm
that.
sorry.
Okay,
Yeah,
fair enough.
I'm sorry.
Fair enough.
But he does some stuff under Complex.
Okay.
But
okay.
but either way,
Mhm.
he said it, and now it makes sense to me why
Why
that
it was looking weird to you?
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Because like Ed said, it's literally the first thing you see in the film, and if you notice it, obviously Jay didn't, but if you notice it, it pulls you out. But Jay,
Yeah, Jay, what
how'd
are some of
feel?
your thoughts?
Was it dude? All his scenes were with the.
Not all of them.
I
Not all
felt
of
that
them,
way, but he saw it twice. So
yeah. Also, he's not in many scenes, so it is a good portion.
He's
a
in
good
enough
portion of it.
scenes, though.
Yes. Yeah.
No, I didn't know. I had no idea, man. That's all he told me. So I didn't know, man. But
thoughts about the movie, Jay? I mean,
well, it was
your feelings, your impressions.
I enjoyed myself, man. It's
good.
It's a total cool fucking superhero movie. I mean,
Right.
it's probably one of the better DC movies
Sure.
that I've seen. You know what I mean? It's actually, I kind of like got choked up a bit because when you see all of them, I'm like standing in a hill.
right.
Yeah.
And I was telling them this when I, interfered in their conversation.
They were having a thing.
You saw
You
the
were invited.
You saw the jail. Somebody had to keep Bill company.
They were having
You also need to excuse me. I'm a little fucked up.
they were having a spoiler conference in the other room.
But I'm talking about the scene when they're on the mountain, and I just saw the JLA right there.
Yeah.
In front of my face. And I didn't really feel like I get what you're saying, Dom, because sometimes CGI will ruin a fucking movie. I didn't feel it that bad with this movie.
Yeah, well, to me, this movie is like the blanket example of the term "the good outweighs the bad."
Yeah,
because
right,
there's a lot
right.
of bad in it, but there's also way more good that
Right.
outweighs the bad. So,
And the thing is, I mean, there's certain issues, but they're issues you can easily forgive.
Right.
Because what I saw was like a fucking DC graphic novel on the
Right.
screen.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
And by
to
that
life.
logic, you know what I mean, it succeeds, man. And I think that anybody, because we spoke about this too, people are nitpicking just a little too harsh in
the
areas.
story, yeah. Well,
The
because
story, right.
like any superhero movie, there's problems with the villain. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
show
I
me
mean-
any fucking Marvel movie or DC movie.
And not even those,
know.
but I mean, just like in general, like usually, like
But I didn't mind Steppenwolf. You
big
know what I mean?
action kind of
Works.
blockbustery type movies.
Yeah.
Especially the more genre they get, they tend to have a
Right.
third act.
And they're
issue.
planting the seed for more. You know what I mean? Which is cool. But I thought
Right.
that everybody got enough screen time to do their thing.
Cool.
You know what I mean? Everybody, including Superman. I think everybody and everybody brings it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's definitely a very high cash for me. I enjoyed myself.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
this is a stash for me, man.
Yeah.
Stash, baby.
Well,
Absolute,
Ed, we knew.
absolute stash for me.
Right.
It's
Well, no, it
definitely
is a
sounds
stash
like a
for me.
cash
I'm
to me.
saying, but
it does it. I love the Justice League, and I love
Right.
DC characters, and like I don't know how much better they could have made the movie.
No, I
Really,
agree.
When you think about it, it's like
It's a stash
how
for me,
much
too.
better can you make a Justice League movie than that? In my opinion.
Well,
Well, definitely sounds like it's a cash for me.
well, you want.
I mean, I haven't. Speaking as someone who hasn't seen it yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
no, I agree with you. I'll
Like
stash it.
I put it like I'm very critical of the Avengers movie,
Yeah.
and that's what people think is like the best comic book movie ever.
Right.
And I think it's up there with it. Like it's not that far off. And the only thing that really is different about it is the villain in Avengers is stronger. And me and Ed had a conversation about this off mic too. That the reason why that is because it's Loki and he's a human
Charismatic.
being.
He's charismatic.
He's a human being on screen. He's not CGI.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, the villain lacks in this film because he's a CGI villain.
No,
exclusively.
I definitely stay because I want to see it again.
Right.
And usually, if I go again, you know what I mean. It
That
definitely
means something.
That means something. And I just had fun.
You
know what I mean?
You want to go tonight after the show?
No,
Take it easy, buddy.
some of
Take
us
it
got to
easy.
get up in the morning and do table reads.
I mean, Jesus. I mean, pay attention around here. huh?
But I really like the fact that they really divided the screen time for everyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you do want a more in-depth spoiler review, check out DC TV Report. Sarah
Ooh,
Netzley and I
nice.
recorded about a 36-minute. I'm calling
About.
it. I'm calling it well, no, it's under 40 minutes. I'm calling it a mini episode.
But it's just that you said about 36,
But Ed,
and
it's not a TV show.
And 36 isn't an about number. That's an exact number.
But Ed, I am actually very happy for you.
Oh,
No, you know what I mean? On a side note, not an awe. I'm fucking happy for him.
Yeah.
I'm happy for him because I know you were fucking nervous as all fucking get out. And, of course, you never listened to me. And I told you it was going to be fucking fine.
I'm happy for
No,
anybody.
you think it's a bit, but he was nervous as balls.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I realize with Ed, it's like everything is like half bit. There's always like truth, and it's usually about
so
half.
true.
And I'm focusing on the other half that ain't a bit.
I know. You're
know
trying
what
to
I
get
mean?
through to the core. I get it.
It wouldn't be a bit if it wasn't for fucking truth.
It wouldn't be a bit if he wasn't hanging out with us. If it wasn't us, he'd be telling somebody else straight
No, he
up.
was-
Like
he was-
he's like, I'm so nervous about this.
But he is.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing.
On a serious note, though, this is
Yeah.
a win for not just Ed and DC fanboys, but all comic book movie
Oh,
fans.
absolutely.
Because this is like the climax of where superhero films are going to be. Like, this is a team movie, the team movie, in my opinion. Avengers just doesn't come near Justice League. It's the fucking Justice League. So this is the movie
It's the
that
Trinity,
should be the fucking superhero movie.
I feel like
you know.
Wonder Woman was a foot in the door, and it's like, okay, we have an aberration now. Now it's a trend. And
Well, I disagree with
Three
that.
makes a trend. Three
Yeah.
makes a
Yeah.
trend.
all right.
Well,
So-
hey, I'll
so-
throw Man
And
of
trends
Steel
in
in there.
Hollywood don't
Exactly.
But now I would say it's on.
Yeah.
Like
we
we
definitely
Well,
have, we definitely have an uptrend because
Yes.
Suicide Squad was better than Superman versus Bats, and then Wonder Woman was leaps and bounds better than that. And,
Yeah.
and now we have this one here, which is at least gonna be like near Wonder Woman, if not topping it. So
Yeah, we're on an
you know,
upswing.
we're on an upswing. So that's a
Yeah.
solid positive note. You don't have to be worried
Yeah.
and sweating now.
Yeah,
It's-
I would say we have ourselves a competition.
Oh.
I would say-
Competition.
Yeah.
To me personally, I'll make the bold statement. Nobody else has to get.
Read
like
a
this.
sound effect. Bold
But
statement.
this is a bold statement. I'll say this is better than Wonder Woman. And it's better than Wonder Woman because Wonder Woman as a character steals the movie. It's her and Flash's movie, in my opinion. And
I had heard that.
I feel like
on
the
a-
combination of her and the team just push it over the Wonder Woman edge. Alone, as a solo film. I mean.
There's one double take that Barry Allen has.
He's just amazing. Ezra Miller is just fucking fantastic in this movie. He steals the movie.
Yeah, and to be
I mean,
honest,
Jay, like, you agree, right? With Flash?
I enjoyed him. I thought some of it.
Was it walking a little close?
Huh?
Like that whole stealing the movie sometimes? Walking
I
a little
don't
close?
think
I heard
he
a couple of
steals.
people were like, he was like a little bit. Maybe
No.
Too much, or he was close to being too much.
No, I don't
Okay,
think.
cool.
I actually don't think it's
Was that
just Wonder Woman and I think everybody brings it to the table
Right,
here
right,
in
sure.
their perspective
Right.
character. So I can't really agree with that, but I
Well, I think he's saying that it feels the movie focuses maybe more, a little bit more on
No,
Wonder Woman, or
I-
she
No, no,
steals it in a way.
It's just like when they like it's you don't get it. I partly agree. I don't want to get too into it because this is kind of bordering on spoilers.
Gotcha.
But I don't 100% agree with what Jay's saying, where it's like an equal treatment of the characters because I feel like unfortunately Aquaman and Cyborg get pushed back in this movie.
I heard
a little
Cyborg
bit.
gets a little less
and
development anyway. Maybe he gets screen
and
time. but he
that
doesn't get,
might
like, a lot of
that might not
development.
be that might not be straight up in terms of time. That might just be based off performance and the way those characters were written. So like what I'm trying to say is, I think Flash and Wonder Woman stole the movie because there's certain things that they do in the movie
that are high points.
that are like fucking hilarious or that are like exactly the
Scene
high
stealing,
points
high
of
points
the movie. Like I don't like I'm not saying like that
Oh,
their
okay.
time on screen outweighs anybody else in the film.
I don't-
I just mean that
right.
certain things that they do are just great.
story wise or event wise.
yeah, and I think that is the one character in this movie who does have an established TV show, and Grant Gustin does an incredible job, and Ezra Miller made him distinct but was still true to the character. And I think that's something that was very hard to do. and I thought he pulled off the plum.
Jay,
Well,
Jay
all I
what
could-
were you gonna say about
All I
that?
can say about the TV show, though, is that like they kind of put a certain amount of quirkiness. They've established it in him, and they don't do it enough. They don't play it up enough.
Yeah.
And when they do it, it feels awkward and
Right.
out of place sometimes. It feels a little like, oh, was he just giddy right now? And it's like, oh, that's right. He's supposed to be a little bit aloof, not very, but a little bit. So anyway.
Yeah.
Jay, you look like you're in deep thought there.
no,
pal.
I'm
You had
trying
something to say,
I'm
but-
trying
Oh, I'm
to. No, I'm trying to think. Because I don't think that. I think maybe you're thinking about that in terms because the Flash does have a lot of comic relief.
He's
and that's showier.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah,
he's more like he's just more out there, and he's the guy that you want to have a beer with in the movie.
Right, because I'm thinking of about Cyborg, and Cyborg's got a lot to do here.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
yeah.
It's not like how Hawkeye took a backseat in fucking Avengers.
Right.
He's hardly even used. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like everybody got to shine.
Okay, they all had their story points.
And
Yeah,
they all got some. You know what I mean?
Totally. They all get their shine, but like I said, the moments where
The standout
Flash-
story moments end up falling to a couple of characters.
Well,
in
it's
particular.
showier, I think.
and exactly, and that's all I'm
Yeah,
trying to say.
yeah, yeah.
I'm not really trying to say like that. You know, they were put in the movie longer or anything like that.
Right.
But just as somebody that watched Flash, the TV show from day one,
No, I haven't watched
and just can't watch it anymore because of how bad it's gotten. This is like a breath of fresh air on the character.
Opinions vary.
Because well, I'm sorry, Ed, but hey,
This season's much better.
I tried.
Yeah, it's
I watched the
actually-
first 3. Yeah, I tried.
It's a little better, but it's trying to recapture.
That's a conversation
different
for
story,
another
different
day.
story, different
But
story.
the point I was trying to make was that anybody that is really familiar with that show, when they see this take on the character or they see this character on the big screen, it's a breath of fresh air. I think
is.
I think you could agree with that. I mean,
Yeah.
It stands alone.
Yeah.
It's unique. It's
It sounds like it stands alone. Like
Well,
they.
that's what they had to be shooting for
Yeah.
with the character.
but it's also
Right.
very similar though too in a way.
Well,
It doesn't veer too much.
Yeah,
Okay.
he doesn't have a team. They play up the social awkwardness a bit more.
Right.
Well, he's got a team now.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I would even say he channels Sheldon Cooper in certain moments.
Well, yeah, I think that's what we would hear.
Definitely.
We had heard or understood from the buzz was that he might be a little touch of Aspergery, kind of. He's like they're
Yeah.
it's on the edge of that kind of a thing. You know, he's on the
And-
edge of the spectrum.
And yeah, it's just.
All right,
he's
so
great.
it's definitely cash or a stash from everybody.
I think it's
That's
a
good.
stash across the board because I
yeah,
think Jay.
I meant it
As the man of steelbooks.
Yeah.
as the man of steelbooks. Yeah, I
You
will
would
be getting
say.
a steelbook on this,
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
as I do with most comic book films.
Fair enough. You're doing your, you like.
I'm still partial to Civil War as probably the best.
I thought you were going to say a different metal. Maybe.
No. I'm saying I'm still kind of partial to Civil War. It's like my favorite
Sure.
comic book film. But I agree. This is wonderful, man. And
This is
anybody has
DC's
any doubt? If anybody has any
best?
doubts,
Right.
yeah. Although I am still kind of partial to Man of Steel
Okay. All right. Sure. Fair enough.
for my own reasons, though.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm not
Fair
going to
enough.
say that it's better than like anything really that's come before.
Because that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing like
but-
a lot of high praise for it, like from other sources, not just this table. And so it's interesting because it doesn't seem like anybody's willing to put it as the top best thing, but it seems like it's better than most things, and it's
Well,
it's obviously the path to new hope and all that.
I don't think it's. I don't like. I would put it in the same category as stuff that's come before. I wouldn't put it above anything that's come before.
Yeah, I will say this is a unique moment in time where because these movies came out so close to each other, you have the opportunity to see an incredible superhero.
This is your speech. This is your moment.
No, you have incredibly see a great superhero double feature. Go see Thor Ragnarok and Justice League
Yeah.
back to back, and that is an incredible way to spend an
Teach the
afternoon.
kids about teamwork
Yeah.
and friendship.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, hey, just to round out this conversation, what a year 2017 was for movies, superhero movies.
Superhero
Yeah.
movies.
Not
Yeah,
movies,
next-
not movies really.
Movies in
'cause-
general. Oh,
yeah,
I don't know.
but superhero movies, yes.
And next year looks pretty good too.
Yeah.
Shit, I had a question or something.
You had an inquiry about the movie?
Yeah.
Was it about David Cassidy being in critical condition?
David Cassidy?
I guess not.
No. Is that the dude from the Partridge Family?
Yeah.
He's alive?
Yeah.
Not for long.
Evidently, it says he's in he has organ failure.
I guess the goofy music's probably not apropos.
But I want to know if his organ is failing. Why is it making him sick? I mean, you just
Just hire another piano player.
Right. Just get another organ.
We had a chat game.
I
the
think
Fozzie
I
Bear.
love you.
Well, that sucks though for him. I mean,
No, he's what, about 97 now, right? No,
Bummer.
he's not that old.
he's gonna go. Bonaducci's still kicking.
Well, Bonaducci's gonna have, he's gonna be Gollum one day. So
That's true. That's true. So with that, folks, we're going to jump over to the chat room game. And let's see what Wesley was doing with all these.
Yeah. Meow God was in there too.
Oh, yeah, that's
At one
right.
point.
Meow God, so sorry. Oh,
Right, but remember, he listens
Meow
to us
God's
over
gone.
breakfast.
Meow God's got it right.
So the hashtag was serial killer songs.
Sure.
So I'm going straight through the chat. So if I miss something, I'm sorry.
Okay,
But,
okay.
So the devil killed in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what else we
I'm
got.
at the bottom here. We got the
Bates Hotel, California.
sure.
Pour some gas on me.
Nice. That's fucked up.
You guys watched Justice League yet?
That's not a movie.
The Scalp of Curtis Lowe.
Yeah.
Drowned in the Bayou.
Yeah, there you go.
Slaughtered Strangers in Moscow.
What?
Don't Stop Stabbing.
Oh, I like that one.
Drift
Don't stop stabbing. Yeah, I like it.
Drift Away. You've Got Me Under Your Skin.
Nice.
Friends in Deep Ground.
Oh, there you go. Give me 3 shots.
Yeah. Give me 3 shots. Yes, Ready Player One. Have you seen The Blood Rain? Nothing But a Murder Time. Remember the Killin' Time. You Are Not Alone. Digging Into the Night. Dirty and Dead Diana. Body.
I don't know why that's funny to me.
Body in the Sky.
Body in the Sky with Diamonds.
Truck Driving Over Man. You Give Killers a Bad Name.
There you go.
Lay Your Hands on My Neck.
Oh, somebody's a Bon Jovi fan.
Should I stab or
Oh,
should I shoot?
Like, should I stab or should I shoot?
Smoke on the Lips.
Smoke on the lip.
Heart Removal Hotel.
There you go. I like that.
There you go.
Hurt Me Maybe. And I think
And then Bob comes in with "Oops, I killed him again."
there we go.
Finally, somebody, and it was him. Son of a bitch.
I never ring the bell.
I'm just that good.
That's true. That was a bell ring from Jay.
That was the chat game for this week. Do we have emails?
Oh crap! Was I supposed to open that up ahead of time so I didn't have a moment where it wasn't open and I have to stall now?
Sorry, we'll let Dom talk.
Wait a minute.
Dom stepped out.
That was in the bathroom.
Oh, it's okay. I forgot to read the DC TV emails this week.
Well, there you go. Well, that's
So maybe I'll check in there.
yeah. You never know. No, stop that. Well, I guess you could if you really
Oh,
want.
just Twitter.
Did I hear my name?
Oh, yeah. We were talking about you, but not to you.
We segued over to you, but you weren't there.
Emails.
Emails. We had to wait till you were
We still
here.
get those?
Yeah. We had to wait till you were here so that we could play the audio for you. Oops. I love that it's Ed, it's Jay, it's Dom's bit. Ed mimes it every time. And it looks like he could hit that note.
You know, it's so funny. I swear that's my voice.
Yeah, I think somebody else asked me that too.
Yeah,
Maybe
it was me. I thought it
was.
was him.
It does sound like you.
Can I do one?
What?
Email song.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to
You
do it
know
right
what?
now? I mean, you give us a little something, and I'll just find a backing track to it later.
Emails.
All right, that's gonna have a guitar, I think.
I need Bob for this though.
I got you. I got you on that
Bit
one.
of a boom boom.
Get a couple of nice whales going. Wah, wah.
Sounds like a bass drum.
A lot of bass. Let's see what we got. We got James. Good old James. James Hazelden.
Is it a book?
Hold on a second here. I just kind of, oops, there we go.
Hell awaits.
All right. So James is like, hey, I'm not sure. No, I was going to do a voice. That's not him. So he's like, I'm not sure how you can do the show tonight. Have you already finished Punisher? Well, he's calling me out. He's right. I didn't. Yeah, I remember the Netflix free trial thing, and since I have Wi-Fi here, I am now signed up with a new account, and oh my God, this is more cliffhanger. I got to keep watching than I remember Daredevil even being. Yeah, it is a little bit like that. They do roll right into the next one after another. After this, I'm finishing up Stranger Things 2, then actually watching Iron Fist and Defenders, and possibly, if there's time, sleeping since before work on Monday. I'm like, I don't know about that, buddy. That sounds like a lot of binging.
Yeah.
But like, what are you living alone? Where did the wife leave you? You better hope when the show starts tonight, I can tear myself away, or I'm just gonna have to hit the podcast I guess he means during the week. And that's true. I guess that's the situation because you're not around.
Oh.
So I guess that's the option for you. You'll have to go get it somewhere else.
Yeah, maybe.
You'll have to find it on your pod service of choice, as the saying goes.
Monday, bitch.
You gotta wait till Monday. People listen live on Saturday.
What else we got?
That's my song.
All right, fucking record it then.
It's done. It's recorded already. Mix record that shit. All right.
What else we got? What else we got?
What
else we got? What else we got? What else we
everybody's
got?
favorite.
Read a goddamn email.
Wesley.
Ow.
Wesley. Master Wesley.
I had to lighten the mood a little bit. It was getting.
He
a little
says,
fucking-
yeah, it was getting too serious.
It was
in
getting
here,
too
right?
serious.
Way too serious. You guys should stop it. Hey, you gentlemen.
Huh?
Not us. I don't know who he's talking to. Since Jay asked for it, I'm sending in my bullshit.
Oh, good. See, here you go.
Jay did say on Twitter today, just send in your bullshit. So he says, if I were to leave Virginia on a train at 80 kilometers per hour and Bill were to ride a bike at 10 miles per hour, how long would it take for Bill to stop reading this email and skip just right straight to the question?
The answer is 6.
I wanted to do it already, but you wrote it
15 minutes.
on the
Three licks to
Palisades
get to the
Pop-Up.
center of a Tootsie Pop.
There you go. When you add cereal and milk, does it become a beverage, broth, or a sauce?
It's a soup.
I think that's. I think I got to follow you on that. It's a cold soup.
I think it's a ragu, actually.
Cereal. It's a ragu.
It's a stew.
It's either
stew.
Is it stew or ragu?
Maybe
It's a cold stew.
Maybe it's a goulash.
I don't think we're in a goulash. I think it's too wet for goulash.
It's a porridge.
It's a That's if you let it sit. Like if you come back in an hour when it's all kind of everything's mushed up.
It essentially is.
You know, I
And
think.
until it'll dehydrated away a little
Oh, a
bit.
little evaporation.
What kind of cereal? Because I mean, like
That's a good
Trix,
question.
that
Yeah.
stuff will stay.
That's for kids. I don't know if you
Trix,
know.
but like
That's kids' porridge.
It's for kids.
that like shredded wheat that like becomes a whole new substance.
Let me tell I could fuck up
Well,
a
that's
good
old people
bowl of
porridge.
Apple Jacks. I'll tell you that right now.
You could spackle a wall with some shredded wheat and milk.
Apple
Just saying.
Jacks is good
You
shit.
could fix a broken I-beam, I think, in a skyscraper with shredded wheat and milk.
Frosted mini wheats.
You know, make a little paste out of it.
Maybe
I think
braise it on the edges.
Yeah, you know, get the torch out, dry it up.
Bit of cinnamon toast crunch.
I think so.
Some fucking crackling oat bran.
Oh, it's good stuff.
It's a cat eyes.
Nut and honey. I don't know. All right, what happens if
Grape nuts.
what if Pinocchio says?
Sit in my face and I'll tell lies.
Right, that whole joke. I think that's where he's going with this. Wait, I think that's where he's going with this. What happens if Pinocchio says, quote, "My nose will now grow"? Or did he miswrite that and it's supposed to be not?
No, I
To
think
the chat room, Wesley.
All right,
Is that
yeah.
supposed to be
No,
"My nose will not grow"?
Yes, that's what it's supposed to be. Think about
Okay,
it.
no, that I get. But he wrote now, N-O-W, so I wasn't sure at first. I
Everything
think he just misspelled it.
Everything Harry says is a lie. He's right.
Was that another John Goodman quote?
No, it was I Mud in episode
Star
of,
Trek?
Yes.
Yeah, it's got,
That's how they defeat Norman.
I'm just gonna
no, it's correct, he's saying.
hop in here. And
Yeah,
say-
please save this bit.
And just say that I have to leave. No.
Oh, shit, that's not saving it at all.
I have to go to work, and
Right.
I'm not happy about it. But I just want to say thanks to everybody that tuned in. Live.
That's great. I'm going with you.
Meow, meow.
Take me!
I'm
And
going with
Wesley,
This
appreciate
is a
it.
fucking train wreck! Bye, Tom!
See you guys next week.
You leaving too, Ed?
Come on, we'll do a couple
I
shots of
understand you
old
want to run
chicken.
out here and go see Justice League
This is
again.
the sad going away music. Fist pound. Fist bumps forever. Oh.
No, you missed it. Dom was shaking my hand. Bob put his hand out to shake it, and I high-fived it.
No, it's one of those.
It wasn't
One of
that
those?
funny.
One of those. I got the reverse awkward handshake with a black dude yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
This kid that I see that it's always in the corner store. There's just he's always in there buying stuff too, and we've actually made small talk, like and gotten to know each other a little bit.
So you went to do one
I
thing.
went to do the fist bump, and he gave me the open hand wrap around.
Oh, wow.
The rock, paper, scissors thing. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't the other way around. Usually, so I probably would have impressed him if I had done the open palm slap and snap fingers.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
I would have impressed him with that because I can pull that off usually.
I've only ever done that with another white guy.
Yeah, well, it's because you don't know
That's not true.
anybody of a color besides
That's not true.
crispy Caucasian. Mucho Caucasian.
That's not true. Actually, a black guy taught that to me.
See that? Well,
And-
who else was going to teach it to you?
Yeah.
Was it like some movie trope?
no, it
was it like the janitor
No,
at the school and he brought you behind the bleachers? And it's about the time I got to show you how to do.
No, Boy Scouts. Samson Lindo.
All right, we are done with this
He remembers.
conversation. You are making shit up. No, I think you're not.
Grew up on
So as far as his Pinocchio says, my nose will now grow.
yeah.
Well, it's because
That's the truth, though.
no, but because
Well, it hasn't happened yet.
if he said no,
wait a minute.
wait, 'cause
But it's
it
not a
wouldn't-
lie.
It's no,
unless
but
it is a lie.
It's one of those. It's one of those
It is-
situations
Yeah,
because
well, I can't even get my head around it, right? It's
right,
time
because
loop?
if he says my nose will now grow, it's not going to grow because it's a lie. But then because it's a lie, it'll grow.
Or I think it'll go inverse. And it'll split his head like the log of wood that it is. And it'll just fall into two halves.
Like the T2.
Yeah, something like that.
The
Exactly.
T1000.
Exactly. And it'll just be these two half head things sticking out of that cute little shirt, flopping to the
Like
floor.
like finding a glitch in a video game.
Right.
I think
That'd be the reaction.
Yes,
I think there's only
exactly.
one proper answer to this question.
Right.
Is Alan Arkin says, Argo, fuck yourself.
All right, all right. In that case, we'll go on to wrap up his email. He says, if I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Thanks.
Because he's a gentleman. And that's just the kind of guy he is, man. You know? I mean, music like this, he's got to be a gent.
Thank you for sending in that email and your bullshit. What else you got?
Does that
Chief?
qualify? Does that satisfy the
Little
bullshit
bit,
quotient?
little bit. But he's a great guest.
He is a great guest. He was a great guest.
He's a great follower.
Fan. He's part of this basically now. I mean, to a degree. I mean, he makes all kinds of accoutrement.
Yeah, he's
Accoutrement.
We've got
I
300.
mean, what's the word? You know.
We've got 346 hearts right now.
And
With two people in there, right?
well,
Really, just one.
technically, it's just him. Like, you know, it's Ed and Bob also, but I don't think either of them are doing it because that's game in the system.
And I can't be in there because you're hooked into my fucking laptop.
What?
in your
I heard my
lap.
name. What?
Sorry. It's
No more
okay.
emails.
No more emails. That was it for the email section and portion of this particular episode. If you would ever like to send in an email, you can do so. Send it to podcast@wickedtheory.com. And you send it there because this is a podcast, and the website is wickedtheory.com.
I'd like to thank the Academy.
What did they give you?
I don't know.
You just want to thank them in general.
Well, he's thanking them in advance for giving Justice League every award possible.
All the awards, please, to my friends in the League of Justice. Do you think it would have done as good if they had called it League of Justice?
No. No.
That would have been a very Hollywood thing to do.
I'm surprised.
Actually, that's what they should have called it. Justice League. League of Justice.
Yeah, I'm really surprised they called it Justice League.
Yeah.
Because
Well, yeah.
like the only reason to call it that is because that's what the team name's been for 60 years.
Well, yeah. It's
like,
because it makes sense, you mean?
yeah, well,
That's
no,
a funny thing to say,
No,
but
but,
literally
like,
think about what you just said.
I-
The only reason to call it that is because that's what it's called.
I know, but like as a name for a team of superheroes in 2017,
Right, it says like a
Justice League doesn't really explain much.
No, it doesn't. It's not as, but it's as nebulous branding as anything
Yeah.
else.
Also, like Avengers, like I never understood what they were avenging.
Yes, well, that's the thing. Like that will always now be the line because that's the line for them. Like
Yeah.
you know, what are we really avenging?
You know,
like, you know,
like Defenders make
yeah.
sense. Defenders, you know, I can get around that. Like, okay, we got this one area we're
yeah.
working.
Well, you know, if you didn't get it this movie, that you're gonna get somebody going, yeah, Bruce, but is this really justice? You know what I mean? Like they're gonna throw it back. Everybody gets
Yeah.
it thrown in their face at some point.
Well, also remember, League. The reason they're called Justice League
It's because
now-
they're registered.
yeah,
Because
no,
they're a registered
yeah, is because
organization now.
Because Julie Schwartz thought that it sounded more hip than just Society.
Coming from a guy with a girl's name, he knows about hip.
Julius.
I know. Oh, geez, Louise.
Yeah, Justice Society wouldn't work.
I just think it's cool that we
Society of
we
Justice.
really like this movie
Yeah.
Yes.
today.
No, yeah. I'm
But we
glad
have
that-
3 different outlooks on it.
as we do on a lot of things.
You know what I mean? I think it just, it's, but it's better than what a lot of critics are definitely saying it is, which is why I hope that people, when they listen to this episode, that they actually go by our recommendation, because I think that they're really going to miss or misinterpret even a really good superhero film here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In that respect.
In that respect.
I had to.
That's a lot of tea on that. A lot of extra teas.
You got a
Gotta give
minute?
him-
I got a
give him an
final
extra
thought.
pop filter.
All right, we can take a final thought. We definitely have a minute, Jay.
Listen,
Yeah.
first of all, I just want to wish all of our followers and fans a happy Thanksgiving. Turkey Day is Thursday, right?
And it is.
Yeah.
And a lot of people like to stay home on fucking Thanksgiving weekend and relax and fucking eat and whatnot. So Uncle Jay's got a couple recommendations for you.
Yeah.
Out there, you know what I mean?
Recommendations.
And Ed can probably chime in on this, because we both agree that if you're going to watch one Thanksgiving movie,
There's only one choice.
Well, there's a few. I have a couple others, but the best, of course,
Die Hard.
is Planes, Trains, and
Planes.
Automobiles.
Planes, trains, and automobiles.
Cool.
Steve Martin, John Candy, all about there's a huge storm in Chicago, and all airplanes are grounded into or redirected to other places, and they
Right.
get
Yeah,
Kansas,
Yeah,
They
yeah,
get stuck.
yeah. Those aren't pillows.
which is a lot of fun, you know. What I
Yeah, it
mean?
is a good
and it's still it stands the test of time.
You're going the wrong way. How do they know where we're going?
And I believe that it's actually become like a Thanksgiving classic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it is 30 years this month.
wow.
That film, 87, in November of 87. A couple other films I was thinking. One isn't even a film. One is just a special.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you want to go for some old-fashioned, you go for a youth trip.
Oh.
If you want to, the Charlie Brown.
Sure.
Thanksgiving is always a good time.
Classic.
But 3 movies: Son of a Woman, which is about
Counselor. No, is that the
no, that's Cape Fear. That's a little different.
That's a whole different guy doing counselor.
No,
but,
Al Pacino
but
playing.
I believe he's in the courtroom, and doesn't he say something about the courtroom? This whole damn courtroom.
This is a courtroom.
This whole courtroom is out of order.
But it's all about.
Took a left at Albuquerque.
But it all takes place on Thanksgiving weekend. He wants to blow his fucking head off.
Sure.
And this kid talks him out of it. But there's a great Thanksgiving scene in that film you should watch. The Ice Storm, which is another really good. It takes place in '73. That's another good Turkey Day weekend film. It's a little dark, a little deep.
A little deep and dark.
And
like a turkey.
And I had one other film, which is called Home for the Holidays, which is a dysfunctional family at Thanksgiving. That's and it's a lot of fun.
And who was in that? And who was in that again?
That's Robert Downey Jr.'s in it.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
No. See, you're thinking of the wrong film again. We had this conversation.
Oh, that's
No, it was Holly Hunter, Robert Downey Jr., Charles Durning, Dylan McDermott.
Does anybody die in it?
No, it's just a fucking dysfunctional Thanksgiving
Oh, I
that
can relate.
everybody can
relate to
go
that.
through. Like you've had a Thanksgiving, I'm sure, where everybody's fucking arguing with each other.
No,
and
not
throwing shit.
really. But I wish.
No, not a Thanksgiving, every Thanksgiving.
So, and that's the reason why I recommend it, because on that note, some shit happens, and it just reminds me of everybody who has an argument and has thrown food or whatever.
It's the classic Thanksgiving blow up.
So those are some recommendations if you want to talk about a film, and of course Eli Roth's Grindhouse, coming attraction Thanksgiving. Remember that?
yes.
I missed that myself.
Yeah,
Oh
it was-
yeah.
Oh, the middle. The preview.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
In the middle of Grindhouse.
Yes,
Yeah.
Now I do.
Yeah, I would also recommend the classic Star Trek original series episode Charlie X, which takes place on Thanksgiving. I think that's the only holiday episode Star Trek ever had.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Oh, it's getting tangential now with the fucking connection.
There's a lot of Star Trek talk this
Yeah,
week, and
yeah.
mostly from
They-
Bob, not Ed.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were gonna have meatloaf for dinner.
I mean, if that's all it takes.
And somehow Charlie X turned them into turkeys. I don't
All right,
know.
well, if that's all it takes, then I'll be like, well, you should listen to some of our back episodes because I do the Boar's Head Guide. He mentions oven gold turkey breast.
Yeah. Also,
Like, how random can we get?
Yeah, if you're anywhere near Staten Island, Wednesday night, Thanksgiving Eve,
Doubtful.
Super Live Adventure is having a Thanksgiving Eve bash, and Johnny Pugs is coming from Scotland.
Hey, Johnny
and
Pugs.
Local wrestling phenom Tony Dangerous, all 5'2" of him.
Hey, he's dangerous.
Drink your milk, everybody.
That's it.
I'm there just for Tony Dangerous.
It builds bones.
I'm just saying that because normally people have there's hundreds of Christmas movies.
Sure.
There's only a handful of Thanksgiving
real
films.
Thanksgiving movies.
So
that are
that's why I
about
kind
it.
of singled those out because it's kind of like a
well,
little
that's cool.
thing.
That's a great list.
So definitely I'll throw it on Twitter, and hope people chime in on it.
There's 5 Thanksgiving movies. Do you guys have any other movies that
Oh, there's more than 5.
No,
but I'm saying
I'm not asking literally you. I'm speaking more metaphorically to the listener. Like, if you guys hit up Jay, you'll see Jay's Twitter handle.
Yeah.
Speaking of wrapping it up and Twitter handles, Jay, what is your Twitter handle?
I would like Ed to say it, actually. I'm at Uncle Jay, Ed, at what?
At Man of Steel Books.
I love it. Perfect delivery.
It might be changing again. just so you know.
Follow him now, folks. Ed, where can people find you?
At Man of Steel Books. No.
Man of Steel Books 2, TOO.
Man of Steel Books 2.
Yeah, no. I am at Edward O'Hare, TBD.
Nice. Brother Bob,
Yes, what?
where can people find you?
At Bob WTPC.
Very cool. And then people can follow our buddy Dom Torre at Dom_Torre, TORRE. You can find me at Wicked Theory on Twitter. You can find the show at wickedtheory.com and wherever good podcasts are given away for free. Listen to us often. Listen to us live. Get in here on Saturday nights, mixler.com/wicked-theory. Bob, feel free to take us on out of here.
The Wicked Theory podcast is heard live every Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern until whenever. Just go to mixler.com/wicked-theory. Mixler is MIXLR. Sign up to join the chat. Then click the follow button to get reminders whenever the show goes live. You can find the show on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, wherever good podcasts are given away for free, and at wickedtheory.com. You can support the show at patreon.com/wickedtheory. There you can get the after show if you miss it live. God forbid. Plus other exclusive episodes. As always, send your emails to podcast@wickedtheory.com.